Sgorio byw rwan ar o'n gynderfynol gema ail gyfle Ewrop ac mae sylwebedd Saesneg ar gael ar y botwm coch. Colwyn Bay take on Bridgen now on S4C with English language commentary available. Sky Plus, Freeview or Virgin Media viewers, press the red button if you have a TiVo box or Sky Q box, then access settings and use the audio selection option. Any problems, please contact our viewers hotline.
Efallai bod y tymor arferol ar ben yn does dim yn arferol am y gyngrair yma na chwaith y wobr enfawr sydd o fewn cyrraedd y 4 clwb yn y gemau ail gyfle. Mae yna le yn Ewrop o fewn cyrraedd. Y tymor ar ben ni megis dechrau. Hwlffordd ddath a hi llynedd. Maen nhw'n cwrdd ar bar i fori, ond pnawn yma yn dechrau'r cyfan ni'n y gogledd. Bai Colwyn, gartre yn erbyn Pen-y-bont. Pwy bydd yn dathlu? Pan ddaw diwedd y tymor. Tymor di gorffen ni megis dechrau. Croeso i'r heilwen ym Mae Colwyn. Gêm enfawr iddyn nhw yn erbyn Pen-y-bont. Mae'n hyfryd cael bod yma. Gêm fawr, tor fawr, cwmni mawr, Dylan Blaen yn cadw cwmni fi. Pnawn da.
Pnawn da.
Gymaint o uchelbwyntiau o ran y tymor, ond un o uchelbwyntiau tymor fel arfer yw hyn, y gemau ail gyfle. Ran y 4 clwb, os da ti ffefryn ar un o bryd?
Wel, ti'n gofio edrych e fe, meddwl taw'r canlyniadau dod mewn i'r gemau ail gyfle ma'n o holl allweddol, a ti edrych wedyn yma Barry sydd falle lan tuag at frig y gyngrair, so nhw yw'r ffefrynnau, Bai Colwyn. Ond yn aml iawn hefyd, ti gweld y tîm na sydd yn y 7fed safle, oherwydd falle momentum, bod nhw yn aml yn neud yn dda yn y gemau ail gyfle, felly bydd Hwlffordd yn edrych ar pethau fyd. Dim lot yn arwain tuag at Pen-y-bont, ond dwi'n siŵr bydd nhw heddi yn rhoi gêm i Bai Colwyn.
Mr. Henry pawb yna, da iawn, mae rhaid. Pwy yw beth sydd i ddod? Beth sy'n dod nesaf yw Sioned Dafydd yng nghanol y cae gyda'r ddau reolwr.
Nôl y mis Tachwedd, nath Pen-y-bont golli fan hyn o 5 gôl i 4 ac ers hynny, maen nhw mond wedi ennill 1 o'i 16 gêm ddiwethaf. A mae'r rheolwr Rhys Griffiths yn cadw cwmni i fi fan hyn. Rhys, great to see you. Now, you've said coming into this one that Pen-y-bont are by far the outsiders in the playoffs. But you're here, you're 2 games away from Europe. How much of it is just putting the last few months aside and approaching this one with a fresh mindset?
Yeah, I think, look, every manager that's ever conceded a goal can, point fingers and questions of why they conceded them. But we've conceded some bad goals lately, and then down at the other end, we've not been putting away our chances, but we have been creating chances lately, and we have been playing quite well. So, and actually, when we've come here twice, although we've lost twice, when we've been brave and moved the ball, we've actually dominated for large periods. So we've just got to tighten up at both ends and then be brave with the ball. But it's obviously a bit of it was a cup semi-final, isn't it? And anything can happen, and all the pressure is on them because they are the favourites. So this all changed in about 6 to 8 weeks, isn't it?
And I guess you are the team in this tie that has the European experience. You've achieved it twice already in a relatively short space of time, which is huge credit to everything that you've built. How much has that been in your messaging this week, and how much can the players rely on that experience?
We've played in some big games, and we've lost some big games, and we've won some big games. So certainly you can call upon those experiences. We also, that first one, the monkey off your back a little bit, is really important. And, if we don't win the playoffs this year, we've achieved Europe twice in 4 years. If we do, it's 3 times in 4 years. So either way, we're not doing too bad, are we? So obviously for Colwyn Bay, it'll be the first time, to my knowledge anyway. So it's a little bit more pressure, and obviously they're at home and they've beaten us here twice, and they're in decent form and we're in terrible form and all that stuff. So the pressure is on them, but obviously, inside we're desperate to win, of course.
Rhys, appreciate your time. Pob luck, good luck. Wel, fel oedd Rhys Griffiths newydd weid, mas o'r glybiau i gyd sydd yn y gemau ail gyfle, Bai Colwyn yw'r unig glwb sydd heb profi pêl-drod Ewropeaidd o'r blaen. A fi jyst yn mynd i ffindo'r rheolwr nhw, Mike Wilde, sydd fan hyn. Mike, you're just watching the warm-up. I'm going to take you away for 2 minutes, if that's okay. I was just alluding to the fact that out of all of the clubs in the playoffs, Colwyn Bay are the ones that haven't tasted European football yet. How much are your players leaning into that challenge and opportunity today?
Yeah, and probably that's where the main focus is going. It is a challenge, and it is the first time we've experienced as a football club anything like this. We've got a few experienced players in there as well that have sampled it, so hopefully that can help as well moving forward in today's game.
And this hasn't been a happy hunting ground for lots of teams this season, and you've put yourselves in the fantastic position of having that home advantage. How important is it that you're the ones controlling this game and setting the tempo early on?
Yeah, it is, and I think it's a bit of a cliche, but ultimately we have got to allude to the support that we have here. It's been fantastic all year. It is like a 12th man, isn't it? And hopefully they can help us out. But there's a lot of emphasis on us making sure that we do well here at home, and we haven't disappointed on many occasions. And hopefully today is one of them other occasions that we can perform.
Mike, thank you. Diolch, pob lwc.
Y ddau reolwr yn barod amdani. Yw Pen-y-bont yn barod? Fan hyn ni'n gweld plediad diweddar y clybiau. Ryan Melyn yw'r clybiau yn y gemau gyfle. A fel chi'n gweld, beth yn y byd sydd wedi digwydd i Pen-y-bont. 3 pwynt ers y toriad, y record weitha yn y gyngred. Dylan 11 heb ennill 1 mewn 16. Beth sydd wedi digwydd iddyn nhw?
Ie, ti'n edrych o hwnna, ti'n meddwl does dim cyfle dyn nhw heddi, edrych ar fel mae canlyniadau na.
Ond, oes na ond?
Ie, mae hyd ond, ond ti'n meddwl bod ym y llwaith, pethau fel na gallu tynnu garfan at ei gilydd. Na 3 Griffiths sôn bod nhw wedi bod yn waren weddol. Roedd e weddol hapus gyda rai elfennau o'r gêm, ond falle ddau Cwt Cosby fel sydd mor allweddol bob tro, hwnna'n allweddol iddo fe. Am y llwaith, mae gallu tynnu garfan at ei gilydd, a bydden nhw wedi bod yn arwain tuag at y gêm yma heddi. Pawb yn meddwl yn beth i'r gêm yma. Rhys Griffiths yn amlwg wedi bod yn meddwl beth i'r gêm yma, a mae'n mynd i fod yn gêm enfawr iddyn nhw, bydden nhw'n gobeithio bod nhw'n gallu troi'r canlyniadau naw gwmpas.
O ran y rhediad na, oedd na gêm nôl ym mis Tachwedd fan hyn, 5-4, gobeithio gen i rhywbeth fel la heddi. Ers ni, dyn nhw ddim wedi sgorio mwy na 1 gol mewn gêm. Felly, sut maen nhw'n newid hynny? Fi'n gwybod mae Ethan Can wedi dod mewn enghraifft gynt o'r enellu, le o ti. Dwi ddim wedi sgorio, mae'n amlwg fod sgorio yn broblem iddyn nhw.
Odi, mae wedi bod. Ti'n methu cuddio'r ffaith na. Ti'n bod, ni wedi cael Ethan Can fan hyn nawr, chwaraewr mor allweddol. Falle na'r elfen o'i gemau sydd angen i fe ychwanegu yw bod e'n sgorio fo golio, ond mae Ethan yn gwneud siwgwmys o waith. Ti'n bod tu allan y Cwt Cosby, neu siwgwmys o rediadau mewn tu ôl. Doedd ddim yn aml fe sydd yn y safleoedd wedyn yna i sgorio, oherwydd fe sydd yn gwneud y rediadau falle lawr rasgell a wedi creu gwagleoedd i Nathan Wood, Noah Daly pam deith e ymlaen ddim yn dechrau heddi, ond y chwaraewr fel na wedyn sydd angen ychwanegu tuag at y goliau hefyd. Maen
nhw wedi colli chwaraewyr mawr yn Ionawr i fod yn deg gyda nhw, Can wedi dod mewn hefyd. Bach o broblemau, oedd hi ar y cae gyda Chris Venables yn cael cerdiau coch, 2 mewn wythnos, Rhys Griffiths yn cael ei wahan. Yw pethau fel yna gallu effeithio clwb?
Wel, ti'n bod, dwi ddim yn delfrydol bod yr rheolwr ddim ar yr yslis yn gallu dylanwadu pethau. A'n amlwg falle Rhys wedi goffa camu nôl tyma bach o'i rôl ond ti'n bod, fel mae wedi bod yn gweud yn gyson, tuag at y gemau ail gyfle yma, mae wedi bod yn canolbwyntio, a bydd yn aml wedi bod yn adeiladu, wedi bod yn gweithio'n gared gyda'r chwaraewyr tuag at heddi, a ffaith bod falle ar yr yslis yn cael effaith positif ar y tîm heddi. Ni'n
dechrau o'r dechrau i'r 4 yma, ta beth, ni'n barod am y gemau ail gyfle, a ni'n sôn am Pen-y-bont, ond bai Colwyn unwaith eto, y llwyfan wedi osod, torfeidd anhygol fan hyn drwy gydol y tymor, maen nhw'n cael tymor anhygol hefyd, a mae'r gic gyntaf yn agosau pan ewn ni nôl wedi'r egwyl. Croes yn ôl ato ni, gêm gynta a gêmau ail gyfle by Colwyn Pen-y-bont, y Bari'n cwrdd â Hwlffordd fori, pwy fydd yn cyrraedd Ewrop yw'r cwestiwn mawr. Ni wedi trafod tipyn o ran Pen-y-bont unwaith eto, golygfeydd gwych fan hyn y mae Colwyn Dylan Blaen gyda fi. Nath y clwb ma benderfyniad mawr sol tymor yn ôl Dylan i ddod nôl i chwarae yng Nghymru ar gyfer dyddiau fel hyn am hynny.
Yn hollol, ti'n bod, dyma beth o'n nhw am, mae'n fe cyfle yma i chwarae yn Ewrop, a maen nhw 2 gêm bant o fe nawr, wedi cael tymor anhygoel, wedi gwneud yn gwych. Ti'n meddwl yn beth i fe nôl, maen nhw wedi dysgu'r gwersi falle o dod lan, goffo mynd nôl lawr, ail adeiladu. Beth nath nhw'n wneud yn y ffenest trosglwyddo yn gwych, a dyma sefydlaw yn moyn fod mewn.
A dyma, y ddau dîm yn camu y cael. Mae'n dod yn mawr y mae Colwyn yn gyffredinol yn hwyrach ar y prom. Maen nhw'n dadorchuddio cerflun i Terry Jones, un o arwyr Monty Python, a un o'i ddyfyniadau mawr. He's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy. Sy'n mynd â ni'n berffaith os gael ddweud, at ein tîmau sylwebu ni. Draw at chi gyfeillion.
Thank you, Dylan, and it's good afternoon from the Blue Turtle Arena, home of Colwyn Bay Football Club for the first semi-final in the JD Cymru Premier playoffs. Colwyn Bay, they finished 5th at the end of the regular season. Pen-y-bont, today's visitors, 6th. But both teams come into the game in patchy form. Colwyn Bay finished the season winless in 3 games, 2 draws and a loss. But Pen-y-bont's form since New Year's Day has been nothing but woeful. 4 draws, 7 defeats and only 3 points since the split. By far the worst record in the league. Worse even than Bala and Llanelli, the 2 relegated clubs. The 4th European spot is the goal. And with Pen-y-bont having got to Europe in 2 of the past 3 seasons. Will their past experience be key today, despite their recent poor run? Team news. Colwyn Bay, 1 change from the side that drew 1-1 away at Conisky Nomads last weekend. Goal scorer Jamie Cumming drops to the bench. In comes top scorer number 9 Jordan Davis. Pen-y-bont 4 changes from the 2-0 defeat away at Caernarfon last weekend. In come Billy Borge, Jack Clay, Ash Baker and Alex Kvektovic.
Yeah, thanks, Prince. So I think Colwyn Bay line up there that you can see on screen. I think last week when they played against ourselves at Connors Quay, we played in a 3-box-3. Leading into today, I think they'll go to not their normal format. Lewis, Cyril, Pete and Astles make up the back 3. Roberts, Hill, Edwards and Moore down. George Hughes and Moore down. Edwards in the 10 and the 2 up front will be lively. Pen-y-bont, be interesting to see what I see. I think that, you know, with the front 2 there, I think Venables will be playing next to Can. It'll be Baker and Spectators down with Pritchard ahead of that. But Nathan Wood deploying himself as a left wing back today, which is obviously different to the role that he normally plays. So really interesting to see how it lines up and how it pans out. But it's got the makings of a very good game.
And that is the voice of John Disney, the Connors Quay Nomads manager, and it's an absolute pleasure to stand beside you, John, rather than asking you the questions after the game.
Yeah, I'm still nervous seeing if you're going to put a microphone in my face, but no, pleasure to be here. I think it's going to be the makings of a very good game. Good to see a really good crowd here again today at Colwyn Bay. But alluding to the point that you made about Pen-y-bont, I think it's interesting really with the format and the way that the league is, that it doesn't matter how you finish in phase 2, it all depends on today. And yeah, I think that, you know, looking at the face of Rhys Griffiths earlier today, I think he's really up for it, and I'm sure that will relay into his players. So Colwyn Bay.
Our referee is Mr. Bryn Markham Jones, originally from Wrexham, now of Swansea. He showed 9 red cards this season. And last weekend he showed 2, didn't he, to Harry Owen and Ben Hughes in that well, absolutely incredible match between Met and Flint. And it's one of those kick-offs again, John. What's your view on that kick-off, where they just punt the ball straight out of play?
Well, I think it makes our lives easier to see what shape they're in. But I think that, you know, ultimately they're about to get territory. Colwyn Bay have 2 long throws on either side, so they can always turn that back round. But it's a good way to start the game.
It's a glorious day, by the way, here. And as you can see from the pictures, it's bright, it's sunny, it's really warm. And that will have an impact, certainly, I'm sure, on the game. Miles Davis, only ever present on the pitch this afternoon. The only player in either side who has started every single league game this season. And it's been a black start from the visitors. And starting with intent. Davis. There's a ball down the line. Ethan Can was the target. Falls to Petkovic. Cleared away by It was Moore with the long ball forward. Pen-y-bont just gets underneath it. Robles, ball forward looking for Jordan Davies. First touch for the Colwyn Bay top scorer. And wins the throw-in.
Yeah, brilliant. I think that's the game plan from Colwyn Bay at all points in time this season. You've seen Matty Hill will come over and take the long throw. They sort of, Alex Moore's turned that into the channel, and Jordan Davis and Robles will fight for you all the way through in the game. And they've set it up now with Matty Hill lining up, and it'll be really interesting to see how Pen-y-bont set up here. Billy Borges staying spare. They're looking to see who can mark Cyril Astles, and obviously the main threat being Nathan Peat. But Colwyn Bay not just dealing with the first contact, you have to deal with the edge of the box.
Opening 2 minutes, and it's Matty Hill. He's one of the changes this afternoon, or he's with the long throw. It's been a good start from the visitors as Wood just looks forward for Ethan Can. Just held up by Ethan Roberts, the battle of the Ethans, and is back to Alex Brown. Petkovic, Baker. Good play by Jack Clay. Owen Pritchard forward looking for Can again, and it's Ryan Astles. Now then Astles. Ball forward to Alex Moore. Moore just playing that central midfield holding role as Jordan Davis. Offside.
Yeah, I think you see there, Pritchard will go and rotate and try and get into areas in the middle of the pitch to try and get on the ball, but I think ultimately when he does pick that ball up and he gives the ball away, there's gaps are massive for Pen-y-bont. They're going to have to make sure that they close that with the front two of Cannon and Venables, making sure that they, are a platform for them. But if the ball does turn over, then you're stopping Alex Moore and George Hughes get on the ball, because all Colwyn Bay will do, back foot receive and put it into the channel and play from there, and they're very good at it.
We mentioned Ash Baker earlier on. He was actually sent off last week against Caernarfon. But I think because of the rules and because it's a playoff semi-final, he's allowed to play today.
Yeah, and I mean I've seen the tackle back. I mean it was a difficult decision for the referee. I'm not sure. I love a tackle like that. But like I say, him being in the team today is massive for them and experience-wise.
I remember very well from your playing days, John Disney, that you liked the tackle like that.
I'm not sure exactly what you mean there.
Clay, it's been a good start. Good opening 3.5 minutes as Baker finds Miles Davis. And Cyril, Pen-y-bont, they're playing with confidence here, John.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, like I said, I mean, Reece alluded it to in his interview. It doesn't matter how they finish the second phase. Of course, he would have wanted more results, and there's probably loads of reasons why that was. But today's an opportunity for them to go and showcase themselves, and they started on the front foot. I think the wing backs are going to be a massive outball for them. If they can pen Colwyn Bay's wing backs back in and get the ball on into Wood and Davis, then they'll be able to hit the areas early into the front two. Ball
just laid back by Chris Venables, who has been playing at the back. Venables as Jordan Davis just robs the ball from Jack Clay. There's an opportunity here for Colwyn Bay. Ball played into the box. And there was, who else? Aaron Edwards, who was up with play doing that box-to-box run, and early opportunity for the home side.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Davis and Louis Robles are the masters of that. I think that's a foul, if I'm being honest. Again, being a defender, I think that is a foul, but they've not given the opportunity. And then it's the run from Aaron Edwards. I played with Az. He's always going to break into the box and try and get himself loads of opportunities.
Pete Moore just falls for Owen Pritchard, just clipped by Lewis Cyril. What do you think with almost 5 minutes played that Chris Griffiths, he'll be more than happy now, won't he, with the way things are going?
Yeah, he definitely will. I think, getting Pritchard on the ball is going to be key for them. He does step past people, and again, the pitch it looks good, but again, it will be sticky on there. So if he can step past somebody, it's going to be hard for the the defensive midfielders and the defenders to come out and engage. But it's been a really good fast start. Reece will be happy with it so far, and it's let's see how it sort of plays out, because Colwyn Bay will be structured in their set plays.
Owen Pritchard. He's looking for the run from Nathan Wood. Oh, good play by Nathan Wood. He caught Ethan Roberts. And he was sleeping there, Ethan Roberts, and it was a very cheap corner kick to give away.
Yeah, it is a cheap corner to give away. But again, it probably sums up the start that Pen-y-bont have had. They seem like they're up for it. They're obviously on the front foot. And I thought it was a wasteful free kick at that point in time, but they've obviously proved that wrong. So again, Colwyn Bay will set up with their free springers in the box, and it'll be a tough task to mark Borge, Can and Venables. And you can see Aaron Edwards nice and close with Chris Venables, because he'll be their main target here.
It's Owen Pritchard. with the signal. There's a deep one to the far side, headed away by Ryan Astles, and an opportunity now for Ethan Roberts to carry the ball out for Colwyn Bay, looking for Louis Robles. Robles just tries to get the better of Kyle Ludvigsen. Ludvigsen just held his ground, and back to Luke Armstrong.
Yeah, and it's an interesting back three from Reese and the Pen-y-bont team, because, you know, Ludvigsen and Clay can run. They're quick. You know, they won't be scared of getting in a foot race with obviously Jordan Davis and Louis Robles, and that's probably sure why he's done that. But as you can see here, Nathan Wood, Miles Davis, they are going to be the outball for them, and they can start stepping past people. Colwyn Bay structure's not right here. Ethan Roberts is actually the left back, and he's had to go out to the right.
That was an effort from Ethan Can, not scored yet this season, as Can since joining from Llanelli in January. Oh, lovely play once again by Wood. Wood squares the ball in, comes Miles Davis, cleared away by Louis Robles.
Yeah, and Colwyn Bay still on set here now. Ethan Roberts is out as a right back and Matty Hill as a left back. But that's really good from Louis Robles, you know, the way he defends for his team as well. That is a massive positive of Louis' game, and, you know, he's stopped the ball on the edge of the box there into Miles Davis, which again Pen-y-bont do look to do.
7 minutes played. It's a good start, it must be said. Good crowd. There's an unveiling of a statue just down the road to Monty Python star Terry Jones, and we did think that would impact on the crowd, but as always in Colwyn Bay, John, there's a good loyal following.
Yeah, there is, and I think, you know, it's a good club to be in the Welsh Premier League, and they've done well again this year, you know, finishing in the top 6. I mean, it was always going to be a challenge for them, but they've managed to do it. But yeah, really good to see a good crowd, and especially with the weather as it is today.
Pen-y-bont certainly having the better things in these opening stages. Ash Baker. Davis back to Ludvigsen. And there's some fluidity in the back here for Pen-y-bont. Kvetkovic is dropping deep to pick possession up. And it's Billy Borge. To put the pressure on Lewis Cyril. Oh, good play. He did well under pressure there, did Lewis Cyril. Borge commandeering at the back to Venables. This loses out to Alex Moore. Clay up with Jordan Davis. So he did well, held his ground there. Still going, Jordan Davis. Good defending. It almost broke to Matty Hill. He's still in there with Kvetkovic. And he wins the corner kick. Good harrying by Matty Hill, wins the corner kick.
Yeah, again, it's a forward play. Lewis Cyril shows a bit of composure at the back, brings it down on his chest, and, you know, that helps his clearance from the first impact. You know, ball goes into Venables, and, you know, you'd want it to stick, but if not, then it's going straight forward back towards your goal, towards Jordan Davis and Louis Robles, and, you know, this is really turning into a good battle. Jordan always looks to shape his foot onto his right foot and hit the far corner, and then Svetkovic obviously tidies up. But again, another set play here, and it'll be massively important they deal with the threat of Cyril, Pete and Astles. To
be taken by George Hughes. Mike Wilde, player of the season in the annual awards this week. Signal from Hughes, the big man up from the back, and it's headed away. Back by Ethan Roberts, comfortable for Ludvigsen, and then Miles Davis just helps the ball on up towards Owen Pritchard. Pritchard just gets the better of Aaron Edwards, but that one had gone out. Throw in to Colwyn Bay. No, it's a free kick. Matty Hill just gets the better of Nathan Wood. Baker does the covering. Colwyn Bay just working their way back into the game here. Now then there's an opportunity for Ethan Roberts. He was all alone on the far post. Back in it comes. Oh, there's a foul there. Yeah, there was a foul by Jordan Davis on Ash Baker.
Yeah, and it's an interesting dynamic, obviously, when you're looking at the personal battles on the pitch. Matty Hill is very much a runner who wants to go and get at you, and Nathan Wood is a player that always wants to get at you the other way as well. So watching them both do their defensive duty is going to be an interesting battle, and I think that might be what plays out here today. But like I said, very much some physical individual battles on the pitch today, and it's, like I said, it started fast. Hopefully this pace can continue.
10 minutes played. He's the voice of John Disney, Connors Quay Nomads manager. Up for manager of the season in the league awards, Mr. Disney.
Yeah, staff of the season, club of the season. That's how you always see it. But yeah, it's been a fantastic season for the club this year.
Andreas Hughes is up for player of the season as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Reese is up for player of the season. Obviously, unfortunately, we're losing him in the summer. And young Callum West is up for young player of the season as well. So we've got, you know, somebody in each category, which is, again, just showcases how well we've done with the club so far this year.
Yep, and the excellent season that you had at Connors Quay Nomads, finishing second, automatically into Europe. Carnarvon joining, winning the Welsh Cup, and then the 4th place is up for grabs. Either of these sides or tomorrow, 5 o'clock on online with Sgorio. It'll be Barry Town against Haverfordwest. That'll be an interesting one. And then next weekend, the playoff finals. And it all depends, of course, where the final will be on the outcome of both matches. If Barry Town win, the game will be at Jenner Park. If Haverfordwest win, it depends who wins this one. Colwyn Bay, it'll be here. Pen-y-bont, it'll be in Pen-y-bont. Cyril out to Ryan Astles. Astles long ball forward, and Jordan Davis in with the keeper. You look at the back three for Colwyn Bay, John.
Yep.
Ryan Astles, Nathan Peat, Lewis Cyril.
Yep.
The experience there.
Yeah, the experience there, and today's going to be down to making sure that your big players turn up at all points in time, and those three there have, you know, have done really well. They've won things in their career. They've been successful all the way through. I think it's an interesting dynamic with, you know, Astles played there last week on the right-hand side, and he is left-footed, so yes, it was a good ball through, but I'm sure if that was a right-footed player, he'd step in, so there'd be a different dynamic. But Luke really did well there to sweep up and you know, collect the ball before Jordan could get there.
Billy Bodge to Ash Baker. Just that rotation at the back for Pen-y-bont. And it's even Stevens, as you can see. Possession stats, Colwyn Bay 51%, Pen-y-bont 49%. You can't split them, John.
No, you can't, no. But it's interesting to see Ash Baker drop down there in between his two centre-halves. Obviously, Ludvigsen came out a little bit wider. That allows them, Miles Davis, to push on because they've got a bit more structure in their play, and what they're looking to try and do is then get the ball in behind. And it allows Venables and Can to really pin rather than it being a fighting ball. So the Baker's obviously dropping now in between the two centre-halves. It frees up his other centre-half to be able to step in, and then they want to look to be able to play forward. But yeah, no, both teams have started really well.
Goalless. Still within the first 15 minutes. As Alex Moore on loan from Wrexham. Good ball, finds Jordan Davis. That comes at Nathan Wood to do his defensive duties. He sees the throw in.
Yeah, he's done well there, Nathan. He's done really well. And again, it's interesting to see, you know, other coaches would want their opposite wing-back tucked in at that point in time, and the ball probably falls to him, but Nathan's a forward-thinking player, and, you know, Reese won't want to take that away from him.
One win in 16 for Pen-y-bont. And not a single win in the second half of the season, as Miles Davis, he was caught late there. And Bryn Mark and Jones just telling players to calm things down. You had a word with Rhys Griffiths midweek, John, and he'll be more than happy. I mean, you said, I think, remember when we were talking pre-match, that he'd chosen a team specifically to deal with Colwyn Bay's set plays.
Yeah, and I think every team in the league has to do that. You know, respect, massive kudos to Danny, Wilde and Jay Owen, who obviously deal with a lot of the set plays from the Colwyn Bay perspective. They're very similar to a format that I played in previously, and you've got to try and respect that. And, you know, the aerial threats they've got with Pete there winning the ball, Aaron Edwards even still gets into the box. They've got to deal with that. But yeah, I'm sure Reese is happy. Had a conversation with him, like I did with Wilde as well, in regards to, you know, me and Wilde are on the pro licence together, so we speak quite regularly, all managers. But yeah, it was good to chat to Reese and, you know, really understand where he's at. And I've got so much respect for Reese, because I think he alluded to it in his pre-match interview, you know, for the last couple of years, how they've qualified for Europe. And I think people forget where Pen-y-bont have actually come from under his management, and there's an expectation there because of what they've done in the last few years. But I can tell you firsthand that's really, really difficult to do, and Reese has done well with that.
Miles Davis missed one touch too far for Kai Ludvigsen. So back to a point you were making there, John, that the managers do talk to each other. I mean, there's a brotherhood, I suppose, therefore, is there, amongst the managers in the JD Cymru Prem?
Yeah, well, we're being honest with some of them, yeah. That just depends in regards to how it's been on the touchline and stuff like that. No, but there is. I think we've got to respect each other, and we're all going through similar things. And, you know, players, ownership, fans, some more than others, referees' decisions that everyone always speaks about. I'm not going to comment on them. I've loved the referees this year. You know, you've got to stick together and you've got to understand it. And, yeah, I think, like I said, there's always that mutual respect there, as there was always on a pitch as well.
Yeah. Matty Hill. There's a long throw coming in here into the box. Matty Hill. Ethan Roberts just takes Ethan Can away. It's back to George Hughes. Ever deep bar. Alex Brown, the Colwyn Bay keeper, in the Pen-y-bont half. All played back in, and he wins the corner kick.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Aaron Edwards is the master at that. You know, the ball's gone back into George Hughes so they can change the angle so Nathan Peake can't get pinned. But Nathan Peake allows himself to become free, and then Aaron Edwards is always going to play on scraps there. So, like you say, the ball goes into Peake there. He always wins first contact. Jack Clegg gets away with that one in regards to, you know, he's pulled out, he's made the right decision, and then, to be fair, he defended that really well. But Colwyn Bay do pin you in. Once they get one long throw from something that might be a mistake, it might be a poor decision, it might be a case of them playing well and playing into territories, they then pin you in, and they have a lot of long throws and set plays that, like we've just alluded to, they're really good at. Marking Nathan Peake now as he stays spare is going to be key, and it looks like Mal Davis has got that duty.
There's George Hughes with the ball in. Nathan Peake got up higher than anybody. Players, player supporters, player of the season, Nathan Peake. And there's not a lot he misses in the air, is there?
No, he's definitely, I think he's the best in the league aerially, in both boxes as well, by the way. And I think, you know, you try so hard. Again, I've got a lot of bumps and bruises to showcase that you try very hard against stopping Nathan Peake, but he's never present for them, and he's been fantastic.
Remember, the club rugby this afternoon at 4:45. It's Llanellian against Rugby Gogledd Cymru. That'll be live on S4C, and remember, as I said, tomorrow afternoon, 5 o'clock, online with Sgorio. It'll be the other semi-final as Ethan Can gets up, but just can't find Chris Venables. And as you suspected pre-match, John, Can and Venables, they're playing as a partnership up front. Just hold it for a second as Borge heads the ball away. And the foul. Yeah, because he's been playing at the back, John, Chris Venables.
He has, yeah, but then again, you've got to respect what Colwyn Bay are good at. If Lewis Hill gets the ball with time and space, he's going to hit the ball in behind you, as he's done there. And, you know, like I said, this alludes to the fact of Ash Baker, how important he is. Little things like that in a game. Only senior experienced players win them fouls and get their body in the way. And, you know, now he's getting on the ball to try and slow the game down from set plays. And as we alluded to earlier, you know, if Pen-y-bont can split their centre halves in between Billy Borge, Ash Baker drops down, it allows freedom forward to play that forward pass, and it splits Colwyn Bay's midfield. But yeah, the front two, I think, you know, like I said, Venables has been unbelievable in this league, and Ethan Can is a good signing from, obviously, Llanelli earlier on in the season. Venables,
40 years of age, Chris Venables, and still going strong. Wins the free kick, an opportunity for Pen-y-bont just to push up.
Yeah, again, like I've just alluded to, the experience there of getting your body in and buying a foul, and you see loads of free kicks given like that nowadays. Yeah, and like I said, it's an interesting one because there wasn't one given the other end with Jordan Davis going towards the defender, but it goes into the attacker. So again, defenders union.
It's Owen Pritchard who's the set piece taker for Pen-y-bont. There's a bus queue on the far side, just lifts the ball beyond Miles Davis. And that does well, wins the throw in.
Yeah, and I know you speak aerially about Nathan Peake. Miles Davis is a real threat for Pen-y-bont. You know, you look at him in structure and size, you wouldn't think he is, but he's unbelievable aerially as well. So again, a lot of Pen-y-bont set plays will be looked towards him.
Wood to Ethan Can, back to Nathan Wood. Opportunity for Owen Pritchard to lift the ball into the box. Oh, there's a header on the far post. But there was an offside. There was an offside as was it Venables? Yeah, it was Venables who threw himself at the ball there.
Yeah, there is an offside, but that is unbelievable defending from Aaron Edwards. Absolutely incredible defending his back post. The ball comes in, Pritchard time and space. He's always going to put quality in it. It's a hell of a ball, and you know Aaron does so well to defend his back post. Venables is offside, but really good defending.
And two stalwarts of the Welsh Prem and the JD Cymru Premiership, of course. Chris Venables, Aaron Edwards. You just feel also they just go on and on and on, don't they?
Yeah, and it's a testament to them. Look at them, there's no ounce of fat on them. They're both really lean muscle-wise. They can get around the pitch really well still. So it's a testament to them. All right, yeah, they've been in, well, as was at TNS for a number of years, but they've been in part-time clubs for a while now, and, you know, it just shows the dedication to what they do.
Aaron Edwards, 38. 38, Aaron Edwards. Chris Venables, 40. And there's Ryan Astles. Just hoofs the ball away.
Yeah, I mean, Astles isn't normally like that. He shows a lot of composure normally, but again, that's because he's on his right foot there, so I understand what they're looking to do.
Ludvigsen under pressure from Robles. He's a pest, Louis Robles, isn't he?
Your words, not mine.
In the kindest possible way, John.
No, he is. Yeah, he's really, really good defensively. He's non-stop. He's, you know, he does work really hard for the team, and, you know, he probably puts the team before himself. A lot of people will look at his goals and assists and not really think he's contributed as much as what other forward players do. But, you know, you speak to Wilde and Danny about him, and you know that the staff really, really appreciate him, and he's a player that the players would always appreciate too.
Miles Davis looking for Venables. Venables' ball drops to Ethan Can. He falls again for Ethan Can. Under pressure from Ethan Roberts. And Ethan Roberts just got his toe in there. And there's Robles. Under pressure from Baker. Baker does well. And then Miles Davis. Determination. Roberts. There's Billy Borge. There's a long ball again, looking for Ethan Can. Cross comes Venables, did really well back to Ethan Can. Wild effort. But Pen-y-bont dead up for this.
Yeah, they are. Both teams are. It was a bit scrappy there, wasn't it? Both well, about 5 or 6 players going in for some 50-50 tackles there just in front of us. And yeah, I mean, the ball then pulls over, and Venables is still working channels at the grand old age of 40. Yeah, like you can see him getting behind there. Nathan Pete's thinking that the ball will be able to go out, but, you know, again, like we said earlier, Venables doesn't give anything up, and Cyril gets away with one there, dangles his arm, but Can could probably show a bit more composure there. But yeah, like you say, good start again from Pen-y-bont, and they're getting opportunities.
Nathan Wood with the ball into the box, but it's Nathan Pete with the clearance to Alex Moore. We passed the halfway point in the first half. Goalless, all square in all respects. There's Miles Davis. Baker. Kvetskovic. And it's back to Billy Borge.
Again, you can see here as they're building, Spectators drops down this time to open up spaces into Ethan Can's feet. But, you know, Roberts again working hard for his team. As the ball turns over, you know, Aaron Edwards is now taking his role. And, you know, as again here, Nathan Wood was higher, and he's got to be pushed back by Matty Hill now. So again, now it's time for Colwyn Bay to have a bit of a spell on the ball if they can do so.
Astles, right-footed. And it's Jack Clay. He's picked up by Owen Pritchard to Alexander Kvetkovic. Venables, lovely header, just takes the ball away from Moore. Experience there from Venables. There's Miles Davis looking for Venables. Just a wayward pass picked up by Alex Moore. Moore motors down this side. Hopeful ball looking for Jordan Davis. Good play by Jack Clay. Just puts himself between the ball and Davis. And it's an opportunity once again for Nathan Wood to carry the ball out. And possession has changed, as you can see. 60% for Pen-y-bont as Owen Pritchard. Pritchard did well there under pressure. It was a good play by Alex Moore. It's a Pen-y-bont pressing.
Yeah, they are, yeah, but Alex Moore's done well. You know, he sort of made his debut against us earlier on in the phase 2, and he's done very well for them on loan from Wrexham. So again, showing his, you know, his experience beyond his years there with the tackle that he's just done on the edge of the box. But what I will say is, again, something that, you know, some teams do sometimes look at. The gaps are quite big now in front of Colwyn Bay's back three, and if they can sort of pull one defender in and play around the other one, the old up, back and through that teams will look to do, I think there will be opportunities now for Pen-y-bont if that starts to open up. So, like I said, really good start to the game so far.
There's an injury to one of the Colwyn Bay players on the... oh, he's thrown up. It's Jack Clay, I think, isn't it? Jack Clay. And I'm sure the heat, John, will have played a part there.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I've never seen someone be sick to try and get a drinks break for the rest of the team, but I hope he's okay. I think, yeah, like I said, I think it might be down to the heat. He might have took a little bang to the head. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but you know, he's back on his feet. He looks okay, and I'm sure that's not going to stop him continue on the pitch.
One of 4 changes made by Rhys Griffiths this afternoon. Joe Woodowis, Clayton Green and Noah Daly on the bench, and Jacob Jones not in the squad this afternoon. There's Billy Bohr, Josh Baker, Alex Kvetskovic and Jack Clay, and Clay just taking a drink of water on the far side. And an opportunity, as you said, John, for the drinks break, and on a hot afternoon like today, that's absolutely needed.
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, ultimately now as a management staff, especially at Pen-y-bont now, they've got to understand what the next couple of minutes look like whilst he's not on the pitch, and then go from there, because, you know, they're going to have to cover up where that area is where he's been sick. But, you know, as you can imagine, Woodvis is going to be a natural replacement to go into a back three, or maybe even Clayton Green if needed. But he looks okay.
Yeah, they've got a strong bench. They've got Joe Woodowis, Noah Daly, top scorer, 11 goals. He's on the bench. Owen Phillips, Owen Wallow, and Clayton Green. There's Kane Owen, and he's a big loss for Pen-y-bont, isn't he, John?
Yeah, and like I said, I mean earlier, you know, everything that Rhys Griffiths has done at this club, Kane Owen's probably been a part of that as well. But I'm sure there's reasons behind why he's not involved. And like I say, he'll be cheering on his team with being club captain.
On the bench for Colwyn Bay, by the way, Sam Hart, Jamie Cumming, Aaron Williams, Issa Cagbo and Ben Hoban. So 2 strong benches that may be utilised as the game goes on and as the heat just ramps up as we pass midday into the early afternoon. Davis looking for Cam. 0-0, no clear-cut chances so far.
No clear-cut chances at all, and I think that, you know, the way that both teams are probably set up, both teams will probably be happy with how it's going, and I think that, you know, Jordan and Louis will think that they're getting some opportunities by turning them in behind, and I'm sure the Pen-y-bont group will also feel like they've built up some momentum within the game as well. But as you can see now, really blocking the middle of the pitch is going to be important, especially whilst they're down to 10 men, and you've got to make sure that, you know, you don't let the other team get a spell of possession, and you either drop off into a shape and allow the front 2 to drop off, or you really push up and squeeze as a team and try and, you know, make it a bit messy.
Jack Clay rejoins us. And Lewis Cyril. KG, I suppose, would be the adjective for things as they are at the moment. As we approach the half-hour mark. Astles. To Cyril. He's got Louis Robles in space. Cyril spreads the ball out to Matty Hill. Hill closed down immediately by Nathan Wood to George Hughes. Hughes, it's a lovely ball to Aaron Edwards. Edwards time to consider his options. George Hughes, lovely back to Aaron Edwards. Was he clipped by Ash Baker? He was. Referee right up with play. And an easy decision to give the free kick to Colwyn Bay.
Yeah, definitely. That one starts from Lewis Cyril going into Ryan Astles going into Lewis Cyril this time, and then allowing them to have momentum from a left footer going to the next one. And then Aaron Edwards has run off, obviously, the back of Ash Baker there, and it's a trip there. It's a definite foul, and it's a real dangerous area here with George Hughes' quality on the ball. Again, prime suspects within Pete, Astles, and Cyril to make sure that you're dealing with, and it'll be interesting to see Pen-y-bont's line here.
Now Jordan Davis has taken control here. George Hughes moves away. Jordan Davis, Colwyn Bay top scorer, hat-trick against Pen-y-bont back in November in that remarkable 5-4 game. A wall of 3. Davis steps up, and that one clears the bar by a long way.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see teammates when these things happen, because, like I said, I did allude to the George Hughes element, because that's what they did first game of the season in a very, very similar area. Nathan Pete scores. Now, Jordan's got that quality. He's got undoubted moments where he can put that into the top corner. But again, as a teammate, you've got to hit the target. Otherwise, questions are going to be asked. As I can see, Aaron Edwards is asking him now.
Well, it's got to go down as a chance with half an hour played. Colwyn Bay 0, Pen-y-bont 0. Of the 4 teams in the playoffs, Colwyn Bay the only team without European experience.
Yeah, definitely as a club. Obviously, they're new to the format within the league, aren't they? But they've got a lot of European experience on the pitch, so obviously that will play a part today.
As Aaron Edwards, the most medalled player in JD Cymru Premier history. Ball played down the line, and it's Ethan Can chasing the ball. Can does well to keep the ball in play. Oh, he was shoved off the ball unceremoniously by Nathan Peat, as Alex Moore just rifles the ball forward to Jack Clay. Cleared away by Luke Armstrong on loan from Cardiff City. The Pen-y-bont keeper. Can did well.
Done brilliantly there.
Really well to find Chris Venables. Venables looking for Owen Pritchard. It's a poor ball from Venables, and Pritchard just shepherded out by Lewis Cyril. And that was an opportunity that should have been taken advantage of, John.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's always, like I said, individual battles. Luke makes a really good decision, an on-pitch decision to turn the ball long, and Nathan Peat's won a lot of the aerial battles, but Can manages to pin him just before the ball's kicked. He's pinning him, and it means he can impact him that way. And yeah, Venables was a bit loose with his pass there, but again, good territory for both clubs. Both teams are sort of looking in a similar dynamic to now start to go a lot earlier into the front too, and I think there's going to be a big opportunity coming at some point too.
The voice of John Disney, Connors Quay Nomad's manager. Goalless at the Blue Turtle Arena, and it's Jack Clay. He looks as if he's recovered from his bout of sickness.
Other than with his throwing.
Yes, commentator's curse. There's Nathan Wood under pressure from Aaron Edwards, wins the throw in.
He gets another go now, or he passes it on to Billy Borge.
He's learnt his lesson as Jack Clay. He's only scored 1 goal this season. It was good enough to beat Colwyn Bay 1-0 down in Pen-y-bont. Jack Clay. They're warming up. Noah Daly's warming up there. Surprised that he's not started today, John?
Potentially, yes, but like I said, I mean, Reece has obviously picked that front two to deal with elements of set plays, elements of thinking about what the opposition might do, and I think Venners and Can have done well so far. But Noah's been fantastic signing for them, signing from the league below last year. He was a real threat for them, especially earlier on in the season. So again, somebody that could thrive as the game opens up later on in the day, and I'm sure he'll play a big part moving into the latter stages of the game.
Mistake there from Billy Borge. He was under pressure from Louis Robles, and that was an opportunity for Matty Hill to launch a long throw into the box. Yeah,
and as managers, they are the biggest frustrating ones. Billy's been a fantastic player for Pen-y-bont, so I'm not going to criticise him too much, but a mistake like that, it allows pressure into your box. It allows, you know, the big lads to come up from the back and really attack the ball.
Hill, in it comes. Huge throw, and he wins the corner kick, and it was Billy Borge who was in there as well. That throw is just as well as a free kick or a corner kick.
Yeah, it is, and Matty's not just in the team for his long throw. You know, he has done well with them since he's come back in, but yeah, I'm sure Wilde's happy with regards to how the game's sort of panning out now, and I think that, you know, the set plays, as we said earlier, they just pin you in. They don't just get one long throw most of the time. It normally comes with a free kick or a corner after it. And again, Mal Davis sort of allowed himself to get blocked last time, trying to mark Nathan Peat, and he's going to have to do a roll now.
And it's George Hughes once again. 3rd or 4th corner kick from that far side. And it's another similar one looking for Nathan Peat. Just hung in the air there, did Peat, as Nathan Wood. That clearance didn't really convince. And he was just closed down by Nathan Wood, and Ethan Can just hammers the ball upfield. And it's Ethan Roberts. Alex Brown not had a save to make at all in this first half, nor has Luke Armstrong, to be fair, in the Pen-y-bont goal. Chances few and far between so far in a cagey affair. There's Ethan Roberts rather. Oh, lovely feet from Nathan Wood, and he's allowed to carry the ball. That's Ethan Roberts. He did well initially, and then Owen Pritchard.
But look this side now. Ethan Roberts is over that side. Mal Davis in acres of space. And they managed to get the ball out to him. Alex Moore does the hard yards.
Davis looking for the run of Ludvigsson, but Cyril, he'd read that one really, really well as the ball went beyond Alex Moore.
Yeah, credit to Nathan Wood. You know, he's been doing his defensive role really well, and that's what he wants to be doing. He wants to be stepping past people, and he wants to be showcasing himself as a really good footballer that he is. But again, it's a byproduct of his hard work so far in defensive duties. He clears his own box and manages to step the ball up the pitch.
Surprising that he's only scored 1 goal this season, John, Nathan Wood?
Yeah, potentially, but I think a lot plays through him as well. You know, he's not just an out-and-out forward player. He's doing a job now for his teammates again as a left wing-back today, which isn't what people would normally associate himself with. So, again, you know, came into the league, did really, really well. Obviously got his deserved move into the Football League, and now he's back, and, you know, he's showcased himself to be a real all-round player.
Now, ball forward by Owen Pritchard. It was intended for Venables, but Pete had picked it up. And this is Alex Moore. George Hughes, rather. Matty Hill. He goes past Wood really well there. There's Matty Hill, ball into the box, cleared away by Jack Clay. An opportunity once again for Colwyn Bay, and they appear to be coming down that right-hand side, John. Yeah, they do. And like I said, you know, it's a real interesting battle, the Matty Hill against Nathan Wooks. I don't think either of them really want to defend. Nathan's done a really good duty, and as is Matty the other side. But, you know, I think as a manager, you'd always look to load at that side. Also, it allows Matty to line up his long throw from the side that he'd rather throw it from as well. And, yeah, again, Pen-y-bont, as they have done so far, they've got to go and defend their box. And Matty Hill to Robles, back to Hill. Hill sets the ball, maybe. First time cross would have been better there. Miles Davis closed him down. As the Seagull faithful on the far side just encourage Matty Hill once again. It's that curved run up. And now it comes the long ball in, looking again for Pete. It was Venables who jumped highest. Now then, Ethan can. There's a race between the two Ethans, Can and Roberts. Venables is in the box. Owen Pritchard is there as well. It's back to Miles Davis. Davis measures the ball to the far side, looking for Wood. Wood gets the header in. And it's comfortable. Yeah, and you asked earlier why if Noah Daly wasn't in the team. Chris Venables has headed 4 or 5 balls out of his box, and Ethan Can carries the team up the pitch. So again, really good setup defensively from set plays perspective so far for Pen-y-bont, but Ethan Roberts does really well to track back with Ethan Can because he is lightning quick as well. So yeah, again, really interesting dynamic. Bit cagey at the moment, not really amount of chances at all, but the game is starting to open up. Yep, cagey is the word. As both sides just measure each other up. And it's a throw in. Taken by Matty Hill, looking for Jordan Davis. Maybe Jordan Davis hasn't been seen as much as Mike Wilde would like as Kvetkovic looking for Ethan Can. Cyril just not sure for a second where the ball was there, had to look over his shoulder. And Ethan Roberts can't keep the ball in play. Davis. Remember, tomorrow at 4:45 online, Barry against Haverfordwest in the second semi-final, and they will play the winners of this match in next weekend's JD Cymru playoff final. Ludvigsen just had to backtrack a bit there. Header goes to Ethan Roberts. Just tried to put his foot on the pedal there, and it's Miles Davis back doing the defensive duties. Brilliant defending from Ludvigsen there. Pete. Bullet header, as is everyone from every single header from Nathan Pete. As Astles just eased out of the way there by Chris Venables. Yeah, and it's really, really difficult playing in a game like this, and you know, obviously the pressure that's on the game as well. Yeah, Venables obviously doesn't even look at the ball there. It's a foul on Astles, but you know, the pressure that's on the game, sometimes you're going to have to show a bit of composure in midfield and really try and take a touch and really try and get the ball down, because as I keep alluding to, there is big gaps both sides in sort of the number 10 positions where you'll be able to find those players. So try not to get involved in the battle, and try not to get involved with, you know, kicking the ball as long as you possibly can. At times you're going to have to try and play through it. Now it's George Hughes with the set piece once again for Colwyn Bay. Can and Owen Pritchard furthest up for Pen-y-bont. There's Hughes, ball looking for Pete, just eased out of the way again, falls, didn't fall for Cyril. Ethan Roberts, first time back. Jordan Davis aware that he was offside, and it's Wood. Clay. And that's Baker. Exactly so much better from Pen-y-bont to play out their box rather than clear the ball long and understand that they're going to have the ball straight back on top of them. Who will be happier, the both managers, Mike Wilde or Liz Griffiths? I think, you know, it'll be a case of both will be happy with how they've gone. They're both still in the game. You know, it's a case of they won't. Neither of them are both forward players. They won't be happy with the chances they've created.
But again, defensively, structure-wise, they've both done okay. So I think it'll be quite an even sort of team talk at half-time. Be interesting to see if there is any sort of tactical tweaks or changes. But at the moment, it's a very, very even 50-50 game.
Petkovic. Matty Hill picks the loose ball up, and Jack Clay with a strong challenge. Talking about Chris Venables earlier on, John, from your playing days, would he be one of the hardest players that you played against?
Yeah, again, he offers something totally different to most other strikers ever have in the league. You look at Wilde, they're quite similar profile in regards to when they played up front, but Venables is a very, very good footballer. He's played in midfield, he's played up front, he's played in centre-half. Yeah, difficult. I actually spent a little brief spell with him at Bala as well, and he's a really good person off the pitch. He's just such a winner, and he wants to do anything he possibly can to win the game. And there he goes and gets his head on the ball again. I think that you can't really buy that. And yeah, very, very good player.
And I totally agree with what you said, that he's a gentleman off the pitch, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's an absolutely lovely lad. He's always got plenty of time. Cyril does well. But only finds Miles Davis. Davis looking for Venables. And it's an opportunity again, and it was George Hughes was back doing the defensive work. Venables on looking for Ethan Can. He was eased out of the way by Lewis Cyril. And strong play by the strong man at the back.
Yeah, and again, like I said earlier, it's interesting, isn't it? Rather than you're trying to clear the ball out of your own area, but not understanding that the ball's going to come back on top of you. So actually, by taking the touch, showing a bit of composure and playing through it, it does actually help you a lot more to get up the pitch. But I understand it's a playoff game. It's a game where both managers, both clubs, it means an awful lot to them. So safe football is sometimes seen as the best way, but ultimately sometimes you're going to have to try and play through it.
Pensive Mike Wilde just underneath us here. Mike Wilde to the right of us, Rhys Griffiths to the left.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to be said with how well Colwyn Bay have done this year, actually, under Wilde and Danny. And they've been a real, like we said earlier, not just because of the fan base, not just because of the club, they've been a real good addition into the league. And it made the league competitive to get a result away at the New Saints. It helps everything in regards to what the league does look like. And Wilde is a real deep thinker in regards to football, and I always knew he would be a manager. And himself and Danny have worked really well as a partnership, and it's really good to see, and it's a pleasure to sort of share the touchline with them after sharing a dressing room with them for so long.
It's a good community club, Colwyn Bay. You always feel when you come here, you're coming to a happy club.
Yeah, and it transcends onto the pitch, doesn't it? I think as a player, you want to play in front of these crowds, especially in our system. So, yeah, no, for sure, they've done things really well here, and I think winning today would, just sort of cap off the rest of the season as well.
Into the final 2 minutes, Matty Hill launches another long one forward. It's loose in the box, cleared away. Venables once again. Volleyed in by Matty Hill. It'll fall to Alex Muamua. He's got time, he's got space here, but he tries to play the ball to Aaron Edwards. It was Petkovic who was back doing the defending. And it's Colwyn Bay once again pressing late into the game as Hughes looks for Nathan Peets. Peets gets the header in, and it runs through to the keeper. They're appealing. There was a touch of handball there off Billy Borge.
Yeah, we're watching it back now. Again, you've got to try and stop Nathan Peet attacking the ball freely. There's a bit of panic then in the box.
Oh no, I don't think it's just natural connection. But again, I think when how well Pen-y-bont are defending their box on first contact, I think as well as I know Danny and Wilde, I think they will work something at half time where they'll try and free Nathan up towards the back post without obviously having anyone on the contact with them.
Jack Clay's down once again. He just down on his haunches, and he got up. And we'll just keep an eye on that on Jack Clay. He had to leave the field earlier on. If you're just joining us, he threw up on the pitch, and he's still looking a little bit ginger. Is Jack Clay? And Cyril just takes the ball back to Alex Brown. Into the final few seconds, we understand there's going to be 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. Matty Hill. That's been a good tussle down that far side, Matty Hill and Nathan Wood, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and there's always little elements as to why. So Nathan Wood doesn't get higher because Jack Clay has been struggling with that element there, just as you alluded to. But you know, Nathan's dealt with it. You know, but like I said, Matty's sort of got his side up the pitch, and it seems to be the area they're targeting. Again, here they sort of allow it to go back into the back three, so that they can really look to move it, because at that point in time, Pen-y-bont aren't as tight, and Matty Hill will get you down the line.
Key 2 minutes here. If Pen-y-bont can keep Colwyn Bay out as Ethan Wood. Well, it was a tame volley. And Ash Baker. Back to Alex Moore. Good ball in, headed away by it was Billy Borge. And then Chris Venables. And it's all hands to the pump at the back for Pen-y-bont as Cyril just looking for Matty Hill. And it was Nathan Wood who was just held up, and it's a free kick to the visitors.
Yeah, it looks soft in first at the moment, and be interesting to see that one back. But again, it's stopping Lewis Cyril being able to hit that diagonal, because he has got a lovely left foot as we watch it back here. No, not for me, but like I said, been an interesting game. Stopping Lewis Cyril's got to be the main impact of what Reece will look at half-time, and how the front two sort of stop that dynamic, because that for me is how they'll keep progressing through the pitch alongside the Matty Hill side. But from a Pen-y-bont perspective, defended their box really well, and now it's a case of how do we really look to try and instigate some good opportunities against this Colwyn Bay side.
Well, it's goalless. There have been some high-scoring games this season between these two sides. And I was fortunate enough to be here for the 5-4 when Colwyn Bay were 5-2 up with about 8 minutes of added time played, and it finished 5-4. But no goals so far, as Aaron Edwards under pressure from Nathan Wood. Jordan Davis couldn't keep. Well, the ball was kept in play. Baker. There was a long, hopeful ball looking for Ethan Can. He was just out-muscled by Arseholes, and Bryn Markham-Jones brings the first half to a close. Very, very few chances for either side. And Chris Venables, even though he was 40 years old, he shows he's still got the legs. And it's scored at the break. Colwyn Bay 0.
gyda gymaint yn y fantol, mae'n mynd i fod yn gystadleuol. A dyna'n union ni wedi cael ambell i dacl gadarn yn hedfan mewn hefyd. Ewrop yw'r wobr yn y gemau ail gyfle. A mae'n gyfartal hefyd, dim yn gwahanu y ddau dîm ar yr egwyl. Bai Colwyn, Pen-y-bont, 5, 6 yn uwch gyngrau'r Cymru, JD, y Bari'n Cwla Hwlffordd Fori. Maen nhw ystod y gemau agos, maen nhw ystod y gemau tyn. Cyn cael y teimlad bod y clybiau yn ymwybodol o'r cyfan sy'n y fantol yn y hanner cyntaf yna.
Yn sicr, ie. Fi'n credu bod y trosolwg ti wedi rhoi fyna'n berffaith yn y fe. Sut gymaint yn y fantol, a wedyn chwaraewyr mor profiadol ar y ca sydd ddim am roi mynd rhywbeth bant. Felly, dyn nhw ddim cymeryd lot o risgiau o ran chwarae trwy canol ca. A lot o pwysau yn dod ar y bel, a neb am wneud y camgymeriad na felly sydd yn arwain at gol yn ei erbyn nhw. Bydd rhaid i rwy'n fentro yn yr ail hanner, dyna sy'n neud i mor gyffroes, yr hyn sydd i ddod wrth gwrs. Hanner cyfleoedd mwy na lai yn yr hanner cyntaf na. Gyn i weld rhoi Bai Colwyn yn gyntaf. Os na fwy o, fi'n gwybod, disgwyliad arnyn nhw gan mae nhw sy'n gatre? Os, ie, ti'n meddwl ni nhw sydd falle angen dod allan a wneud y chwarae, wneud y rhediad. Ond rhan fwyaf o'r bygythiadau ni wedi gweld wedi dod o'r tafliadau hir na neu o ciciau uniongyrchol mewn i'r cwtgosbi. Nathan Pete yn amlwg iawn fel ni o hyd yn gweld gyda'r cyffyriad gyntaf. Ond Pen-y-bont wedi amddiffyn yn wych. Ni'n gweld cic rydd fan hyn, ti'n bod oedd e ongl falle bach yn anodd fyna i Jordan Davies cael yr ergyd tuag at y gol rhwng y safleoedd fyna. Ond mor belled amddiffynwyr sydd falle yn ennill y gym. Fi'n gwybod mae'n hawdd mynd am yr opsiynau, ciciau hir y tyfiadau hir, achos maen nhw mor beryglus yn gwneud hynny. Ond ni'n gallu tynnu chi ffwrdd o'ch gym mwy cyffroes hefyd weithiau, achos mae Jordan Davies yn dipyn o chwaraewr. Falle bod ni'n gweld digon ono fe. Ie, ti'n iawn. Achos bod nhw'n wario falle'n uniongyrchol am y ciciau rydd na, dyw e ddim falle'n cael y bel mewn gwagle, a wedyn dangos beth mae e gallu gwneud pan mae'r bel ar y llawr. Felly bach yn rwystredig iddo fe, ond beth ni aml yn gweld mewn gemau hefyd yw bod gêm yn agor lan. Wrth i falle chwaraewyr dechrau blino, yn wedi gyda diwrnod falle bach yn fwy boeth na beth ni'n gyfarwydd gyda, a wedyn y cyfleon na, fe ddeith moment yn y gêm yma'r teimlad, a os cwmpeth ei Jordan Davies, Robles, di teimlo fod rhywbeth yn mynd i digwydd. Pen-y-bont yw yr rediad mor siomedig yn ddiweddar, ond nhw'n aros am y gêm yma, maen nhw dal yn y gêm yma, a wedi creu argraff hefyd ar y degau i fod yn deg. Ti'n bod, ti'n edrych ar yr ystadegau ran meddiant, a wnawn nhw'n gwneud yn weddol dda yn y fe. Nhw wedi goffa amddiffyn lot o'r tafliadau hir, ond wedyn pan maen nhw wedi cael cyfleuon, ti'n bod hanner cyfleuon, Alex Brown ddim yn goffod wneud lot yn y gol mor belled, a ti'n bod ni wedi gweld Can a Venables yn cyfuno tîm bach yn y llinell lan na, ond am gweld na bach mwy, ond mae dan nhw tîm sydd wedi gallu newid pethau fyd, ti'n bod edrych ar y fain gyda Newid Daily yn enghraifft. Ie, hwnna fod yn ddiddorol yn yr ail hanner. Ti'n teimlo bod e'n mynd i fod yn rhywun sydd gallu cael argraff ar y gêm yma. Ni'n gweld croesad unwaith eto dod mewn fan hyn, ond ti'n bod dim lot o berig fyna. Can yn neud y rhediad yna, ond falle ddim nawr pam nhw'n agylchu bel, ddim yn creu y cyfle eirad nad maen nhw am. Dylan diolch mor iawn am y tro. Felly, dim yn gwahanu nhw ar yr egwyl. Ewrop yw'r wobr, mae yna densiwn o ran hynny hefyd. Dim pawb sy'n teimlo'r tensiwn, mae un gŵr yma sydd wedi ymlacio yn llwyr ysmwriol o'r Ceicona gyda ni ar y botwm coch. John Disney yn Ewrop yn barod, yn hapus i fi, dyma fe gyda Sioned.
Yeah, John, I can imagine you're not jealous of Rhys Griffiths and Mike Wilde being in these dugouts today, because, my word, that was a tense first half. But, I mean, first of all, in terms of you, I think there are huge congratulations in order, because what a first season you've had at Connors Quay. Second place, European football, and you've just been nominated for Manager of the Season as well. This head coach stuff is easy, isn't it?
I'm definitely not sure about that. Ask my family. But, no, I've really enjoyed it. I think, going back to the first point in regards to Wilde and Rhys, I think, you know, the teams it's been a bit of a scrappy affair. I think they would have probably both liked more opportunities, but that said, you know, defensively they've both done really well in the team. And yeah, as a player, I would want to play on it because you want to play in the big occasions. As a manager, yeah, definitely not. My nerves are shot. Even, you know, in the first game of the season and the last, when sometimes people have said there wasn't much to be played on that. We want to win every game. In regards to the management, yeah, I've loved it. It helps when you've got a really good group of players. It helps when you've got a really good club to work with, and it helps when you've got some really good staff. And like I said, it's a Club of the Season award. It's the Staff of the Season award because you guys, some of my players, don't see how much the staff put into it, and I'm just the face of it, and I'm the one stood here talking nonsense most of the time. But no, really enjoyed it, and yeah, long may it continue.
Tell us about what these next few weeks are going to look like now, because of course you've got Europe to prepare for. Looking at your retained list though, John, quite a lot of players have left. So, what's the plan for Connah's Quay?
Yeah, the plan's already started, and you are right. Like, the retain list has a lot of players that are left and a lot of household names within the Welsh system. Firstly, I have to say thank you to all of them, like I did individually with all of them throughout the season. And although it may have been a shock when the statement was released, my players that have left probably didn't see it more of a shock. And there's some natural reactions there. There's some players that are coming towards their end of their time playing football, let alone just for Connah's Quay. We've had 2 or 3 players that have asked to leave the club. There's been a couple of players that we offered contracts to, and due to work commitments, family commitments, they weren't able to stay with us. But look ahead, look forward. That's all you can do in football. And our business has started a couple of weeks ago, really, and we're speaking to players already. It's hard because games like this are still happening. Games like this in England are still happening. But I'm really excited for what the club looks like moving forward, especially next year. And it's going to be a really exciting time going into the new league format.
Absolutely. Well, good luck for the summer and next season. But in terms of the second half here now, if you were in those changing rooms talking to your players, what do you think both teams need to do more of in that second half?
Well, I think, like I said, it's hard. It's easy for me to stand here. I respect Wilde and Greece, and I respect any manager that has to stand on a touchline, so I'm not going to tell them what they should do. But what I would say, if it was myself, I would be trying to look to open up the gaps in midfield and try and get players, the better quality footballers within the team, like your Pritchards, like your Aaron Edwards, like your Jordan Davis, your Louis Robles, your Cans, your Venables. You want to get them on the ball, and you want to try and open spaces to try and get them on it. Now, again, like I've said, I'm really, really mindful it's a high-pressure environment today, so that's really difficult for them. But what I will say is both sides have got really strong benches that they can utilise, and I think they're going to play a massive part moving into this. And ideally, I think what I would be saying is please don't allow this to go to penalties, because that becomes even more pressured. So, really good game so far, and I think it's really good for the system to see a crowd like this at Colwyn Bay. And yeah, hopefully it's a really enjoyable second half.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see who gets that first goal. John Disney, diolch yn fawr iawn. Wel, i ni off am y gwyl bach fan hyn, ond dewch nôl ato ni mewn cwbl o funudau ar gyfer yr ail hanner.
Dyma ni mae Colwyn pnawn yma, y fori, y bari'n cwrdd â whole ffordd y gêm arall yn y gemau ail gyfler 4 ola. Y fantes adre i'r clybiau nath orffen uwch yn y gyngrair, felly y bari'n drydydd yn cwrdd â whole ffordd yn 7fed. 4 dyn nhw. A fan hyn, bai Colwyn sydd ar fantes o chwarae gatre, ond mae'n gwbl gyfartal, mae'n gwbl ddi-sgôr. Ond hefyd yn oglon eddys fan hyn, yng Ngogledd Cymru. Mae rhaid sôn am hynny. Ond dyn nhw'n poeni am y tywydd, maen nhw'n poeni am y canlyniad. Nôl â ni at ein tîm sylwebu.
Thank you, Dylan. Welcome back. And it is a really hot afternoon here at the Blue Turtle Arena. No changes to either side at the break. Goalless, Colwyn Bay 0. Pen-y-bont 0 as Lewis Cyril launches a long ball forward. Dealt with by Jack Clay. He appears to be okay, Jack Clay, after his incident in the first half as Venables looks for Ethan Can just loses out to Ryan Astl's Kvetkovic under pressure from Aaron Edwards. Kvetkovic runs through Nathan Pete and is cleared away by Lewis Cyril. And well, the intent from Pen-y-bont is clear from the outset.
Yeah, and I think it's unconventional, isn't it, the way that Svetkovic got through there, but they are the gaps that we're talking about. That's where you've got to try and get through and try and draw Nathan Pete out of those holes to play through for your two strikers as well. But interesting, no changes at half-time. Jack Clay's obviously shrugged off his illness first half, and you know, it's good to see.
Owen Pritchard out to Miles Davis. Pritchard just in a pocket of space here. Picks the ball up. And just thought about Miles Davis. Svetkovic. Nathan Wood rekindles the tussle with Matty Hill. Lovely play from Wood. Wood goes for goal, but wonderful skill from Nathan Wood.
Yeah, wonderful. And I think, you know, Nathan, once he sees that back, I think go at Astles, really drive at him, because one thing that Pen-y-bont do need to understand and realise is something that we've tried to look on is, you know, you start crossing the ball high into the box against Astles, Pete and Cyril, you've got not real chance of scoring a goal, so you've got to get them low crosses in. But once you, this is unbelievable from Wood. Obviously, great start to the second half. Again, individual battles. You know, next time he gets the ball, Matty Hill will be aware of that. But drive again. But another long throw for Pen-y-bont to defend.
And it's Matty Hill from the right-hand side in the shadow of the main stand here. Astles launches it with that trusty left foot, looking for Ethan Roberts, headed away by Miles Davis, back in by Alex Moore. Svetkovic up with Ethan Roberts. Roberts does well, and with a high foot from Billy Borge, and it's an early opportunity for George Hughes or Jordan Davis possibly. I think it's Jordan Davis who's commandeering the ball.
Yeah, it will be Jordan. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think it was actually for the handball rather than I thought I might be wrong. Yeah, well, maybe a bit of both. But yeah, this is more Jordan Davis territory other than the one that he had in the first half. And again, playing with Jordan, I've seen him, you know, put this into the top corner a number of times. So Luke's going to obviously have to be on his toes in regards to this effort.
Colwyn Bay won both host matches, by the way, in both halves of the regular season. There's a home win for Pen-y-bont and the draw as well. So Colwyn Bay had the better of things. Finished 5th, of course, in the table. Pen-y-bont 6th. Jordan Davis and Louis Robles just scheming everybody back for Pen-y-bont. Will it be Robles? Will it be Jordan Davis? Robles runs over the ball to Jordan Davis. Davis once again, as he did in the first half. He's just had his eye in, is he?
No, he doesn't look confident hitting that. Yeah, and I mean, if I was his teammate or his management, you know, him laughing there, but it doesn't look like he's that convincing with that, and he's just lifted it. He's got better technique than that. But yeah, he's had a couple of sighters. What I would say now, if I was Pen-y-bont, I wouldn't let him to have another one.
Goalless. And the crowd, 1,539. They're averaging over 1,000 for every home game, John. It's absolutely remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, and like we spoke about earlier, it's amazing for the system, it's amazing for the league, and hopefully that just keeps growing. And I'm sure if they are to win today and they can get as well a win in the final, then that will keep growing and growing. Yeah, fantastic for the league.
Borge with a defensive header. All played out to Matty Hill. Hill up against Nathan Wood. Oh, Hill gets the better of Wood. Wood just stuck to his task really well there, did Nathan Wood, and finds Chris Venables under pressure from Ryan Astles. Svetkovic.
Yeah, brilliant from Nathan Wood. Really, really good, really bright in regards to his defensive duties. Then he secures the pass, and Venables, allows them to have a spell of play, although they were very sloppy there. But yeah, really good. Again, that Hill-Wood battle is really interesting. Matty Hill normally plays around 65 to 70 minutes, and they normally bring Aaron Williams on, and he does a similar role to him. So be interesting, powerful athletes like that. They do sort of tie around the 60-70 minute mark, and I think it'll be interesting to see what happens as that develops.
Siddle with the throw for Colwyn Bay. Svetkovic was up. Billy Borge with a header. Svetkovic once again. And then forward by Ash Baker. Nathan Peat steps in ahead of Ethan Can. Svetkovic. Good play by George Hughes and finds Aaron Edwards. Edwards looking for Robles. Uncharacteristic poor ball from Aaron Edwards. Looks to atone for his error.
Yeah, and you speak about managers and understanding, pressure within that. Az has got space there as this develops. Ooh.
That was a good ball from Cyril. Finds Matty Hill. Hill. Good cross in by Hill. And good. There was a clash of heads there. There was a really, really bad clash of heads. And the referee, Bryn Markham-Jones, immediately stops play.
Yeah, I was going to speak about Az previously in regards to the decision he made, but obviously the concerns here for both of them now. Hopefully they're both okay. Two big strong boys though, Billy Borge and Az, I'm sure, like I said, they're not going to want to miss out in the second half. Real competitive challenge, but good to see them both getting up to their feet.
If it remains, here's a replay again, near John. Yeah.
It's obviously coming together as a clash of heads, but that's what you want to see. That's what this means for both clubs. You're trying to go and try and win every single ball, and one thing's to say that's definitely been prominent in the game so far.
If it finishes 0-0 or all square, by the way, we will go straight to penalties. So sensible in the conditions that we're playing in this afternoon here at Colwyn Bay. No extra time, it'll go straight to penalties. Neither keeper has really been tested so far.
No, they haven't, no. And like I said, that sort of just showcases that. What I was going to say earlier is Aaron finds himself with time and space in the 10 position, and I see Wilde just below us, and he sort of was animated probably for the first time. He's quite calm on the touchline, Wilde, in fairness. He holds himself well, but that's a massive moment within the game where he's got time and space to keep driving. He's just released the ball earlier than what other people would have. So yeah, really interesting from the goalkeeper's perspective. They've stayed quiet, and it'll be really prominent to see how concentrated they are when those opportunities do come.
Borge and Edwards just waiting to come back on. 7 minutes played of the second half. Colwyn Bay 0, Pen-y-bont 0. That wasn't a convincing clearance at all by Luke Armstrong. Davis plays the ball forward. George Hughes looking for the run of Louis Robles. Robles up against Ash Baker. Ball into the box, looking for Alex Moore. Can. Here is Griffiths just bellowing hold underneath us. As Matty Hill goes down dramatically. Referee just stops play. Ethan Can involved there.
Yeah, it just looked like a natural coming together at the time. Ethan's worked hard there. Yeah, just sort of it's come off his chest, maybe trying to buy a little foul there. Nothing major within that element. He's probably caught him with a trailing arm, but yeah. Like I said, he's okay. Jumped back up. Yeah. What we want to see.
He didn't throw the arm, did he?
No, definitely not. No, it was just a natural coming together, and no one appealed for it, which is always the key point.
Hill looking for Jordan Davis and Ash Baker. This goes down. There was a clash between Baker and Hill. Pen-y-bont lad Ash Baker. Just having an argument with Aaron Edwards, two former TNS players, just having a quick chat there.
Yeah, neither are shy in coming forward, I'll be honest, but I think the game sort of is still going at it now, the pair of them, and it'll be interesting to see if they both concentrate for the remainder of the game. But I think that it's become a bit scrappy. I'm not really sure which side that suits as the things stand. But there'll be a real good one to keep an eye on with Baker and as Edwards, because neither of them will let that one die.
No, Baker had a little dig there. Did you see that as the ball was being going out of play?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. That's what you want. Played in midfield. You want to get involved in that, and I'm sure they'll shake hands afterwards. But yeah, let's get on with the game.
Cammy was holding Askel's shirt. No, the other way around was to Bryn Markham-Jones. So the other way around, and it's a free kick to Pen-y-bont.
Yeah, again, Can's got the other side of Astles and uses his body to sort of get back in. Yeah. Interesting, really, in regards to the fouls he is given and he isn't given today, Bryn. But like I said, we need to try and get the game settled back down. If it turns into a bit of a set play game and a long direct play, it's not going to be the best of viewings. But like I said, both teams are really only concentrated on the result.
You saw Clayton Green on the touchline there, John. Are you surprised that he isn't involved from the start?
Yeah, and again, there's got to be a decision behind it with Reece, and I think the midfield's done okay. Baker's doing well against Edwards, and Cvetkovic has started the second half especially really well. So probably, again, another household name, but, you know, I'm sure there's rationale behind it, and again, I'm sure Clayton will play a big part when he comes onto the pitch.
Owen Pritchard's free kick just touched forward by Jack Clay, comfortable for Alex Brown, in goal for Colwyn Bay. And really, both keepers could have brought their deck chairs with them this afternoon, neither having had any save of note to make. Jack Clay. Now he's got space here as Jack Clay.
Yeah, and they will do this side. Louis will work hard, as you alluded to earlier, but Jordan Davis, the other side, won't. He's always thinking about forward thinking, which is fine. He's a forward player. So you will be able to step in if you're Jack Clay.
Can did really well there to keep the ball in play. The long ball forward from Jack Clay, but Chris Venables just couldn't capitalise.
Yeah, really intelligent interception from George Hughes to stop the play, and it allows this diagonal ball into Jordan Davis.
That's a lovely ball, isn't it, to Jordan Davis. He's got Matty Hill with him. Clay holds him up, and it's headed away by Billy Borge. But what a delicious ball for Jordan Davis.
Yeah, exactly what we said. If Jordan's going to stay, he's not going to press you, but when the ball does turn over, he's going to be available in that far channel. He's always going to want to operate it onto his right foot. But again, like we said, you've got to stop Lewis Cyril getting on the diagonal, because it causes set plays, it causes long throws, and it causes throw-ins. And one thing's to be sure, George Hughes has just intercepted a lovely ball into the edge of his own box. Now he's going to put in a very good quality ball in here.
11 minutes of the second half played, goalless. Corner kick to Colwyn Bay to be taken once again by George Hughes. Just asked to move the ball into the quadrant.
Yeah, and Pen-y-bont, I've got two springers here now, so if they miss out the front two, if they miss it out with an outswinging ball here, I think there's a lot to be attacked around the back for Cyril and Astles.
Hughes with the signal, ball played in, headed away by it was Billy Borge who was there. Matty Hill back out to George Hughes. Hughes gets the ball in. No, and again it was Billy Borge who was Louis Robles who went in for it, and Billy Borge was very, very brave.
Yeah, again, shake hands, get up, but one thing's for sure, Billy's just took a whack on the head from Az Edwards there, and he's got another one. He's going to go and defend his box, and he's a real warrior for Pen-y-bont, as he has been over the years. But really good defending, and like I said, keeping his team within that. From it heads the first set play clear, then goes and heads the second ball as well.
Very similar to the first half. KG, nervy. After all, it's a cup final for both sides. It's the semi-final of the JD Cymru Prem playoffs. The winner to face either Barrytown or Haverfordwest to meet tomorrow afternoon. Remember, you can watch that one online with us on Sgorio. The 4:45 as Clay. Ball falls to Venables. Now then, Venables can immediately goes on his run. Astle saw the danger there. Nathan Wood. Ash Baker, Cvetkovic. Tidy in possession, Pen-y-bont.
They are, yeah, but Pritchard's not getting on the ball as much as what he was first half, so he's got to try and impact the game. He can't allow himself to be man-marked by George Hughes. He's got to try and make himself available into little areas of space, because I think he will be the one who will pull strings. He manages to get a little bit of space there and play the ball forward. I think he's the key to it.
Calm, cool and collected Alex Brown, but the ball just played out by Nathan Peat. Took a touch off Ethan Cann, and it's a throw into Colwyn Bay to be taken by Lewis Cyril.
I'd be surprised, Ash Baker looks like he's struggling a little bit here. I think Clayton Green might come on to replace Bakes, but yeah, really interesting now. I think teams will start making, changes, and it'll be interesting to see who sort of rolls the dice first.
Yeah, Chris Griffiths just below us, just discussing with his technical team, and I wonder will there be any changes. Mike Wilde just standing hands in pockets away to our right. And Clayton Green, will he be coming on, as you mentioned there, John, possibly instead of Ash Baker?
Yeah, I think it's the natural change, isn't it, that you'll see. But again, coming into a game like this as a substitute, you've got to make sure you're switched on. You've got to know your roles and responsibilities, especially defensively against Colwyn Bay.
Can. Oh, did really well. Venables, oh, what an opportunity. What an opportunity for Chris Venables. Either side of Alex Brown, and Pen-y-bont would be ahead.
Yeah, really, really good play from Ethan Can. You know, he stands up Lewis Cyril now and he goes down the outside, gets a lovely ball into the box and little bit behind him. Makes good contact, but like you say, either side, then, you know, it probably causes Brown more of an issue than the actual header does.
And if it was going to fall to anybody on the pitch, it would be that man that you wanted to fall to, Chris Venables.
Yeah, for sure, but I think the benefit is, you know, they've now had an opportunity, so they've grown into the game. Now, normally what happens is once you've made an opportunity yourself, the other team will then look to try and get one on the other side, so they've got a long free kick now that they have to deal with, and again, with the usual targets that they've got, you're going to have to go and defend the box. You might need Venables' head again.
And it's George Hughes, and indeed Chris Venables is doing the defensive duties. There he is, up with Nathan Peat, and an offside flag. Referee allows play to continue. Is Owen Pritchard. Pritchard just looking to caress the ball forward to Nathan Wood. Ball just bounced uncomfortably there for Jack Clay. There was a shove by Svetkovic, so surely there's Matty Hill. Oh, does really well to keep the ball in play. Now they're near on Edwards. Edwards tries to play the ball square, looking for Alex Moore, just beyond Moore. This is Ethan Roberts. Roberts, can he lift the ball into the box? To the far post, and it was Jordan Davis who was up there, got his head to the ball, but just couldn't direct the ball on target.
I mean, I know I'm probably boring everyone and harping on about it, but Svetkovic has to look after the ball better. He can't give the ball away so cheaply. Griff's underneath us, having a word with Nathan Wood to get back in at the back post. He's got to go and defend his back post when the ball goes the other side. You've got to then go and get in. Jordan Davis is very good aerially, but again, it comes from turning over cheap possession. Got to try and be better at that. I know the game's high pressured and I know it's warm and it's, you know, kind of getting a bit messy out there, but real good players will find a touch and they'll play forward into the right areas.
Remember, it's the rally of the Canary Islands tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock live on S4C. Elfyn Evans, last I heard, he was third. And looking to go back to the top of the Drivers' Championship ahead of Takamoto Katsuta. As Ethan Can goes in for the ball. The heat must have an impact, John.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, and it's about staying concentrated and staying switched on. You know, it is quite low as well, going into sort of Colwyn Bay's face this half as well. It does have an impact, but obviously it's the same for both sides. And again, you know, I think it's an occasion that people want to be playing in, and the weather shouldn't become an issue for those players. But taking control of a game isn't about winning your duels at all points in time. It's about taking control of the football as well.
Approaching we've passed the 62-minute mark, and it's Matty Hill. It'll be one of those long throws again. A throw which is equal to a free kick or a corner kick for Colwyn Bay. And again, just aiming towards the defensive giants who've made their way up. Oh, it's a long one, and the keeper did really well. Really well, Luke Armstrong.
As a defender, that is unbelievable. Takes all the pressure off. I know they only get 8 seconds nowadays. Well, he looks like he's hurt himself, but takes so much pressure away from your team. Nathan Peat's running into you there. Maybe, I don't know. You know, maybe he's landed awkwardly or something like that. But yeah, he's done brilliantly there. And I have to say, you know, Luke sort of came into the league as a young goalkeeper on loan from Cardiff City, similar to what we have with Kit Margetson, and I think, you know, the two goalkeepers have done really well. Alex Brown in goal for Chester is on loan from Chester as well. Done really well, and you see them develop week in, week out. And at the start of the season, does he come for that cross? Maybe not, but now he's 25, 30 games into a men's senior environment, he has to come and get those crosses because his teammates and management will look at him, and that's only going to make them better. And it's kudos again to the league allowing players like that to develop in our system.
Opportunity for a water break, and interesting, as you were talking there, John, Chris Griffiths, he'd berated Nathan Wood earlier on, and he just put an arm around his shoulder. And good man management from Chris Griffiths. Yeah,
100% his management, isn't it? Does Nathan Wood want to be defending his back post? I think we all know the answer to that. Will he do it? Yes, of course he will for his team. But what he will do is he'll get at people and he'll make sure he drives people up the pitch. But we're just looking back here, obviously the opportunity for Pen-y-bont, which has probably been the only real opportunity or contact in the box for any team. Like I said, a little bit behind him, but, you know, Venice is always going to make it difficult for any opposition.
Good to see Luke Armstrong back up. No substitutions from either side thus far.
No, but as players, as management, as clubs, you chunk games up, don't you? The first 15, 20 minutes, make sure you stay in the game. Then you try and implement yourself into the game as it leads to half-time. Same would have been said. You know, nothing silly at half-time. Both managers would have definitely said no mistakes, nothing stupid, nothing that gets allowed to the opposition to get in the team. And you know, it's got to 65 minutes, but I think now it's going to be a case of who's going to go and try and win the game.
To avoid the dreaded penalties, because we'll go straight to penalties if it finishes all square at the 90-minute mark, as George Hughes launches a long ball forward. Now then, Venables onto the ball. Robles, sorry, it was Robles here on Edwards. I'm used to seeing Chris Venables doing those runs, John, isn't he?
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think that Robles has caused an issue there in behind, but really good defending again. You know, the ball turns over, no second thought, in behind from George Hughes, and that's what they look to do. Billy Borge probably doesn't want to get attracted into that area, but obviously they come across. Ash Baker then goes and defends the ball here with Aaron Edwards, the old two sort of defending each similar battle. And you can see that Bakes is struggling there a little bit with cramp. He's not played a lot recently, and Clayton Green's ready to come on.
Yeah. Sub being made here, and it is Ash Baker who departs, and Clayton Green will take his place. And Colwyn Bay, they've got Jamie Cumming stripped and ready to come on underneath us as well.
Yeah, I'd assume that would be for Aaron Edwards as well, so that sort of battle they might carry on in the dugouts with each other. But yeah, Jamie's a good player, and I think Clayton brings a lot of bite, a lot of dynamism into the midfield, but he will get on the ball and he will play forward as well. Now the main role for him, as they were showing him on the bench, is what's he going to do on his set play now? Who's he going to mark? Has he got Ash Baker's man? Has he got the zone? Can he be really engaged on the first contact of what's been a really physically demanding game? He's got to go and try and head the ball as well.
Clayton Green replaces Ash Baker. Colwyn Bay not made the substitution yet. Here comes Matty Hill, and you know what's coming next. Oh, it was Nathan Peat. Timed his run perfectly, but the leap just short. And the ball balloons over the bar.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I played with the best that there probably ever was in regards to getting first contact in George Horan. People used to go and try and double marking him, and it's so difficult, and it's hard to really score off that first contact with the amount of bodies that are there. But again, they've got to work on stopping him making that movement towards the box. The boxer Jamie looking to come on now.
What a player, George Horan. Me.
Yeah, very good.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, very good. Oh. Amazing captain, learnt loads from him. Amazing person, and yeah, a stalwart of our league for sure. As another one comes off as well, and another one that I played with Aaron, with George as well. The day we won the league at Pen-y-bont, those two both scored. So yeah, Az is putting a good shift there, and it's the sort of normal substitution they look to do. Jamie will get on the ball a lot more. He'll be a lot more dynamic. He'll want to step past people. I've been really impressed with him actually this year, in his first year in the Welsh Premier League. Yeah,
very good player, and if he scores, it'll be an early birthday present. He's 30 years of age tomorrow. Here's Jamie Cumming, scored against yourselves last weekend, of course.
He did, yeah. He started a penalty against us, yeah, which is different because Jordan Davis normally takes them. So when you're trying to get the detail and you're saying to the goalkeepers that's what they're going to do, and yeah, Jamie's played, but yeah, he scored. Good player.
And a nice lad as well. He's a gentleman. Another one off the pitch. Jamie Cumming, had the pleasure of interviewing a couple of times this season after man of the match performances. There's Billy Borge just watches the ball running out. What are they thinking now, John?
Like I said, stay in the game, no mistake. Can we trust the people that are on the pitch? They're looking over their shoulders going, what might change this? What are they in tune with the game? Are they going to bring off better quality? Are they going to make sure that we defend our box or we do our set plays? Is the game plan working? Can we try and be a bit more forward thinking? How do we go and win the game before it goes to penalties? Because let's have it right, none of them want to go to penalties because it is a big gamble. So yeah, I think both of them will probably thinking exactly the same thing, if I'm being honest, and then it would just be a case of sticking to your principles.
We've passed the halfway point of the second half. Ethan Roberts with the header. Clayton Green's first touch since coming on. Balls to Matty Hill. Hill looking to release Jamie Cumming. Now then Nathan Wood. Now then on the transition, there's an opportunity here. Owen Pritchard shouting for the ball. Wood goes for goal. Oh, dear me, there were far better options there.
Well, if Reece puts his arm around him after that, he's a better man manager than me. I think Owen Pritchard's got to get the ball. I think that's where it's got to be. But again, on transition there, causing a threat, this is where things start to get a bit tired. Players start to get a bit nervy. This is where you need your experienced players, your Ryan Astles, to make the right decisions, to hit the right areas, to get their team up the pitch like that, to sort of put people under pressure. And this is where it's going to be really key that the players stand up for their managers now.
Lack of experience there, possibly from Jack Clay. It's a cheap throw-in to concede, and when you've got Matty Hill in the opposition, there's always danger wherever the throw-in is. Possibly a little bit too far from goal for the big men to move up from the back. Hill. He's looking for Robles, he's looking for JB Cumming. Cumming gets his head to the ball, cleared away by Clayton Green. This is Owen Pritchard. And it's a race between Venables and Ethan Roberts.
Yeah, really good position from Clayton Green on the edge of his own box there, because like I said earlier, Colwyn Bay do massively play on the edge of the box as well. But Jamie's sort of causing a different issue for Clayton. He's sort of dragging him down to allow Jordan to run into that channel and really play against Jack Clay there. And I think that's going to be a massive way that Colwyn Bay try and get up the pitch, because also Jamie will get on the ball and try and dictate Clayton.
And it's the type of game, John, isn't it, where the next goal wins almost. I mean, whoever scores, could you see the other team striking back?
I'd be very surprised. I'd be really surprised if there's more than one goal in the game. I hope there is. I hope there's a lot more goal, more action for everybody, and I think that I hope Jack Clay's feeling better very soon as well, because Griff will want to bring somebody off due to an illness, but he's battled on all first half and second, so see how he gets on.
Pen-y-bont's last 3 games, no goals scored. Colwyn Bay's last 3 games played, that penalty against yourselves last weekend. So we were expecting goals, but maybe living up to what's happened towards the end of the season as Owen Pritchard just slashes across it. That's got to go down as an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a massive opportunity, but it's not a massive opportunity for him. It's a massive opportunity if he plays the ball to Miles Davis. Again, it's just when forward players see those areas and make sure they want to get their shots off, but you've got to make the right decision. But again, Pen-y-bont are sort of stretching it in behind. If they can win those first contacts and deal with the ball in behind them or dropping into Cummins, then they are getting opportunities on transition.
Astles spots the room for Lewis Cyril. Into the final 20 minutes, there's 2 players on the right-hand side here. Jordan Davis and Matty Hill, who are screaming for the ball, and Cyril sees them. When it comes to Matty Hill, just showed too much of that to Nathan Wood, and ricochets to Jack Clay. Clay, just a long, hopeful punt forward, dealt with easily by Nathan Peat. It's just getting a little bit stretched, a little bit scrappy as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You've got to go and stop Lewis Cyril getting on the ball, because his quality with his left foot is unbelievable, and Jack's coming off here now. It looks like there's going to be a substitution made. I think it has to be.
Yeah.
But again, Jack's done really well. It'll be over to Joe Woodwis now to sort of make sure he just cements himself back in there. But he has to be aware coming on, they're going to look to try and hit the diagonal on top of him against Jordan Davis.
There's Joe Woodwis. He was one of the 4 left out this afternoon by Rhys Griffiths, and Jack Clay. Yeah, I think he's going straight for the changing room.
Yeah, do you know what? Fair play to him. He's really done well. He's really stuck at it after an illness like that. It can't be nice. It's definitely, you don't want to be playing like that in the heat. And I'm sure he's the best place for him to be at the moment is within the dressing room. But Joe's going to come on. He's quick. He's a good athlete. He's aggressive. He's strong. But again, coming into this sort of game where a high-pressured moment, you probably don't want to change your back 3, your back 4 at any point in that game. But unfortunately, Rhys has had to do that.
So second change for Pen-y-bont. Joe Woodwis is on for Jack Clay, and previously Clayton Green came on for Ash Baker. Jamie Cumming, the one change for Colwyn Bay, replacing Aaron Edwards.
One thing I am surprised about on that, because obviously you only got 3 stoppages, that they didn't make another sub like a Noah Daly type profile of player right now, because I think that you've not that you've wasted one, it's been enforced within you, but you could have got another player on the pitch.
And tiredness will be an increasing factor, won't it?
Yeah, within the mind, not in the body, within the mind, making mistakes, making errors that lead to things that, let's be honest, no teams have made any mistakes as it stands right now. So the tightness within the mind, and it's keeping your teammates engaged, and you're talking to people to make sure you're keeping you active, but also your teammates.
Matty Hill, Robles the target. Jamie Cumming just eased out of the way by Billy Borge.
Well, he's made up for his mistake there, hasn't he? He's defended his box and he gets the ball back to a goal kick, so fair play to Billy.
And remember, tomorrow afternoon, the second semi-final, 4:45 online from Jenner Park. It's Barrytown against Haverfordwest. Head on the block, John Disney. How do you see that one going?
Do you want me to be diplomatic?
You always are.
Well, Barry have been fantastic this year, actually. I do think, you talk about manager of the season nominations. I think Steve Jenkins and Andy Legg have been hard done to there in regards to where they finished and won the League Cup. So, fair play to them on that. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. Haverfordwest have go into it with a lot of momentum as well, finishing where they did. Yeah, I've not answered your question.
But you often see, don't you, the team that finishes 7th coming into the playoffs with momentum.
Yeah.
We've seen it happening in the past.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, I think that when I first signed for Conisgate, it was the first thing that I won with Conisgate, actually, the playoffs, with the way that we were with Andy, obviously bringing myself and Nathan Wolfen in the January. It was a clear remit to go and win the playoffs. And you do always find, no matter what league, no matter what system, the team that sort of goes on the best run leading into it normally do well. That said, we spoke about Pen-y-bont earlier, and not to put any sort of curse on it at all. You know, they've performed really, really well. And I think if you'd have spoke to Reece before the game at 75 minutes at 0-0, he would have taken that.
And that's where we are, 75 minutes, goalless. Cvetkovic just gets to the ball ahead of Alex Moore. Robles, he's got Ethan Roberts on the far side. This is Lewis Cyril. Cvetkovic goes down now for Pen-y-bont. Just a little bit of uncertainty on the edge of the box for Pen-y-bont as Nathan Wood does well, wins the goal kick. And Cvetkovic is still down.
Yeah, and it looks like another bit of cramp for a Pen-y-bont player. Again, I think, you know, we're watching this back here, we sort of stretch the ball, and as you land on it, maybe as he stood on him. Yeah, like I said, it looks like he's holding his calf area there, but it'd be interesting. He has to come off. You see Ethan Can stretching just in front of us as well. The heat does massively play a part in that, but again, you know, Colwyn Bay aren't sort of in the same element. They're not in the same moment. They seem to look a little bit fitter and sharper at the moment, but like I said, it'd be interesting if Cvetkovic does come off, because the midfield sort of, you don't want to change your back line and your midfield twice. It changes a whole dynamic and a whole shape, so if they are to do that, I think you've got to go and try and win the game.
Well, options on the bench. They've brought Woodywis and Clayton Green on. They've realistically got Noah Daly, Johan Phillips, the two most likely, if they want to make any changes. They've got Owen Warlow, but maybe Daly or Phillips would be the options if needed.
Yeah, and again, you sort of, you know, 15 minutes before a penalty shootout as well. You've got to, that sort of plays a factor with it. Pritchard can drop down and he might go and play next to Clayton Green if that is to be the case, and you bring Noah Daly on. Because, like I say, you want to keep your main penalty takers with on the pitch as well, as you sort of look to that with 15 minutes to go, but you can't really be thinking about that either. So it's a real hard time now in the game for Griff. You know, he's going to have to use all of his experience from himself and his dugout and sort of make quick decisions here to understand what that looks like, because Cvetkovic does look like he's struggling. And yeah, you've got to make sure that, again, not just being physically ready, really in tune with the game.
So the final's next weekend, and just to remind you, we're not sure yet where the final's going to be. A lot depends on tomorrow's game. If Barrytown beat Haverfordwest, the final will be in Barrytown, because they finished higher up the table than either of these two sides. If Haverfordwest win, then it will be at whoever wins this match. And it is Noah Daly who's going to come on for Alex Cvetkovic. So the Croat departs, and it's Daly, top scorer, who comes on. Yeah, and again, like you say, you could either drop Venables down into midfield, but I think just with the way that he's played today and the way he's been, you're going to want to try and get a platform up front with him. So I think they'll drop Pritchard down next to Clayton Green, Noah Daly in the 10, and Daly causes a different problem now for Colwyn Bay. He will be a massive runner in behind. And I think that, you know, if Pen-y-bont can find him into the areas, then it will work massively, and he can leave Chris Venables in the box. Now, Jack Clay, yeah, he's back from the changing rooms. Good to see that he's okay. Ethan Can and Daly straight into the action, putting the pressure on Lewis Cyril. Ludvigsen to Miles Davis. Davis big up and under, watched all the way by Cyril. Did well there, did Lewis Cyril, as Owen Pritchard just keeps his feet. And approaching the final 10 minutes before we go to penalty kicks. Cyril looking for Jordan Davis. There's Billy Borge there. It's not been a free-flowing game, Mr. Disney.
No, it's definitely not. But like I said, massive pressure on both sides, massive pressure on both sets of players. You just want to find someone to take a bit of ownership on the pitch, and I think that if somebody does do that, I think the game will open up either way. So I think that, you know, as you do look to play, you know, you spoke about Louis Robles working half of the team, but Ethan Can there in front of us done unbelievably well. You know, he's not stopped all game, and he harries and he presses and he gets a throw in for his team. That's unbelievable work rate, and I think that Griff will see that. And you know, his work rate now deserves somebody to get the foot on the ball, play, make sure that they're really brave, step past somebody in midfield, look to open up a picture, because again, it's shown and proven that he will work really hard, and if you can leave Venables in the box 1v1 with somebody aerially, that's where their opportunities are going to come from.
On the 28th of March, it finished Pen-y-bont 0, Colwyn Bay 0. And that's where we are again as we approach the final 10 minutes. Long ball looking for Ethan Can. He got above Ryan Askell's. That doesn't happen very often. It couldn't direct the header on target.
No, he's done well. He's done well, Ethan. And the ball back wide from Wilde Davis, they're always going to look towards the back post area. But again, it comes from Noah Daly taking a bit of ownership from the throw-in, stepping past somebody in midfield, really give me the ball. Let me have the ball and I'll try and open the game up for you. And it gets them up the pitch to allow a cross into the far area.
Hughes. Roberts. No, efforts on target. And 2 for Pen-y-bont, none for Colwyn Bay. We're looking for Matty Hill. Can he keep the ball in play? No, he can't.
Pen-y-bont just need to make sure they're not dropping too deep now. They need to make sure that, you know, if they're having 2 holding midfielders or 1 holding midfielder with 2 8s, they've got to make sure that they don't drop deep on the pitch, because that's when gaps are going to open up, and that's when Colwyn Bay are going to be really brave. I think that pass probably sums up the game so far in regards to quality trying to play out. But like I say, if you're really brave here through Pritchard, you get their wing backs out. Owen will be the one who will get on the ball, because he likes the ball, he likes to be able to do things, but if you take a risk and you lose it.
Matty Hill is struggling. It's the below us here. There's George Hughes just under pressure from Noah Daly, did really well. Hughes looking for Jordan Davis. Davis is an opportunity. Jordan Davis, oh dear. Oh, top scorer. And you'd expect him to hit the target there, Jordan Davis.
Yeah, you definitely would, and I spoke about it earlier. Jordan's favourite is to sort of take it onto his right foot, but George Hughes shows a bit of composure on the ball. He plays forward, he gets a good area into the place. You know, he does normally go onto his right foot, and he's not, you know, again, convincingly he's not taking that. But Matty Hill comes off now. As Williams, it's sort of a like-for-like replacement. I think Nathan Wood will like to run him the other way, but you've got to be mindful that Az's pace and power will get him going down the other side. So he's fresh now against Nathan, who might sort of tire a little bit. And if you do make it deep against Az Williams, then he will really step forward. And you know, we spoke about good people before. Aaron Williams is one of the nicest persons that I've ever had the pleasure to deal with on the pitch as a player, and you know, wish him well. And I think that he's going to make a massive impact into this game today.
Well, he's got about 8 minutes. Plus added time, about 10 minutes, really, to make an impact. As Borge just watches the ball go back to Luke Armstrong. And I suppose the fear of making a mistake is really tantamount here. And a goal now wins the game, surely.
Yeah, I think so. I think it really does.
Coming. Ball looking for Jordan Davis. Davis! Oh, it's on target! It was on target! And Luke Armstrong with the save.
Yeah, and again, I've asked for someone to show some composure. Owen's got caught on the ball twice now, and he's probably not going to show that composure anymore, because Cumming will get on the ball and he'll turn you in behind. When I spoke about it earlier, Jordan likes that one onto his right foot, and he always makes good contact. It's a really, really good save from Luke. Like I said, he's not had much to do. He's not had any shots on target other than this now, and I think he's got a really strong hand into that. But again, this is where they build the momentum. I think Colwyn Bay, you know, like I said, Pen-y-bont have made quite a number of changes now. Do they go and do the duties? You know, Venice is organising Noah Daly to go and mark Jamie Cumming there. It's really important they do their roles.
Load of players in the 6-yard box, cleared away. Venables was back there. It was a poor corner kick from Alex Moore.
Yeah, surprising. George Hughes normally takes them, so obviously they're looking at something a little bit different there. And obviously Matty Hill has gone off, but Aaron Williams has got a similar sort of long throw to himself. One thing is for sure, that it's not as big as Matty Hill's. You know, he doesn't throw it as far, but it's still dangerous.
Here he comes, and it is a dangerous one. Headed away was Venables up to the edge of the area. Owen Pritchard did well under pressure from Alex Moore, and he was pulled back, but play continues as Ethan Can just couldn't keep the ball in play.
Yeah, I mean, the tension's there for everyone to see. Touchline, on the pitch, players. It's going to be a very interesting next 6 minutes.
Ethan Can, he hasn't scored this season, but his all-round contribution, as you mentioned earlier on, John, has been really, really excellent.
Yeah, it has, and when you lose James Croll and you lose Gabe Kirkhoff, I think a lot's got to be said for that element as well as a football club. It's what we as a league want. We want players moving on. We want players to kick on. It's really good for the progression. It's really good for Pen-y-bont as a group of staff that they can develop players like that. But I think Ethan Can coming in to replace James Croll is a totally different player, but someone that really helps Pen-y-bont and definitely will help them in the long run.
I was going to mention that actually. Kirkhoff, personally, I think they miss him more than they do James Croll. I think Gabe Kirkhoff is an absolutely fantastic football player, and Pen-y-bont have missed him since January.
Yeah, for sure, because if you look at it here, Gabe Kirkhoff's normally on the ball and he's taking a different traction and he's looking to sort of step in. He can hit that diagonal as well, but he'll always step in, and he is a very, very good footballer. I think when I first played against him, he actually played up against me as a 10, and sort of his aerial dominance was really good and really strong, and I think it'll stand him in good stead.
Clayton Green replacement for Ash Baker. Owen Pritchard. This is Joe Woodywis. Green.
Again, you see that with Woodywis. He wants to step in. If he's on his right hand side, he steps in there and plays the ball wide. Whereas because he's right footed, he hasn't got that balance on his left foot to play the ball to Nathan Wood, who wants the ball.
Oh, mistake here. There's an opportunity for Alex Moore and Borge. Oh, he atones for his error.
Here we go.
And now on the transition, it's Clayton Green. Green needed the quicker ball there. Green looking for Noah Daly. Daly, a lovely touch to bring the ball under control, under pressure from Ryan Astles. Nathan Wood. Wood, space to get the cross in, and it's at the far post, headed away by Nathan Peat. How close can Venables come? Corner kick.
Again, that's the area you've got to get Nathan Wood on the ball. He gets good quality into the box. Oh, I'll tell you what, he's kind of headed the ball on and sort of prayed, and it's managed to flick back past the far post. But again, now he's defended that one, we've got to go and defend the set play now, and it's really important that they do that, and it's really also important that the quality of the ball coming into the box now is important.
That was a vital touch, John, because the cross from Nathan Wood was on target.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And, I'm not sure, I can't see if Alex Brown is sort of talking behind him, but Chris Venables is lurking around the back post like he always does, so got to always make sure you get that first contact on it.
Now it's Owen Pritchard who is going to take the corner kick. 3.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. The signal from Pritchard, it's a low one. Daly was in there. Woodywis heads the ball back in. Nathan Wood with a header. Venables. Oh, Clayton Green. And he thinks he was pulled down. It was a foul according to Mr. Bryn Markham-Jones. It'll be interesting to see this one again.
Yeah, I think he's given the foul on the goalkeeper, but again, a second phase. Aaron Williams deals with the first corner well, and then it comes back into Chris Venables. He gets a flick on like he always does in the box. And I think, to me, it looked like he's just sort of, swung and missed. I don't know. I think it's, context of the game. No, I don't think so. He's just sort of leaning back. If he makes contact there, he probably scores.
Colwyn Bay got away with one there. Well, it's been a nervy game.
Yeah, it definitely has. I think, again, now Pen-y-bont have used all their stoppages, so they can't sort of start thinking about people to bring up the penalties, for instance. But I think, as just below us, Colwyn Bay are definitely thinking of that as part of their plan. And I think that, we'd be surprised if it does go to penalties, that if Aaron Williams doesn't take one.
And the other, Aaron Williams, comes on to replace Alex Moore. And I think penalties has to be behind that thinking.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will ever admit that, but I think it will be as where we stand right now. I'm not really a massive advocate of, when you see the substitutions in the 94th as the ball goes out and they're about to take a penalty, there's quite often that they don't really stand up and take one. But, Aaron here has got at least 2, probably 5 minutes as a bare minimum to sort of get himself into the game. But they'll be thinking to try and win the game. They've put Jordan Davis back drop down into a 10 position now and the 2 up front, so they are going to win it. But again, it'll be in the mind's eye that, that they are getting the penalty takers on.
Peat with a header on, looking for Aaron Williams, and that one will run out for a goal kick. Quick word for the referee, John. He's done well, Bryn Markham-Jones, to be fair, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. It's a physical game. Like I said, the sort of questions about some decisions he did get that he didn't in the first half, but as the game plays out now, he's you've not noticed him is probably the best way to sort of say that. And when you don't notice a referee, then that means that obviously the game's played as it should be. And again, the players have helped him. There's been a lot of physical contact within the game, but they have all jumped up, so it's nice to see that and not see people sort of, screaming, rolling around on the floor. Well,
as things stand, we're heading to the lottery. of penalty kicks. Armstrong coming with the header. Followed by Ludvigsen. Cyril. And it's a head tennis at the moment. Owen Pritchard. And there's a foul there by Aaron Williams.
And the interesting thing is when you're watching a game from here, you see players who want the game to start fast when there's a moment like this, and you see other players who sort of go, let's just manage the game. And it's really interesting to see that different dynamic. So, yeah, you see Nathan Wood really like get the ball. He wants to touch the ball. He wants to get at people. He wants to sort of play. But you see, obviously, the more of the the senior players sort of going, let's slow the game down, manage it on our terms. And there's it's the biggest minute or next 5 minutes in the whole season for both of these clubs.
Yep. Boils down to this. All eyes will be on Alex Livesey, the fourth official, to see what the number is on his electronic scoreboard. Ball headed forward by Miles Davis. Now 6 minutes. 6 minutes added on. There have been quite a few stoppages.
Yeah, a lot of stoppages, a lot of substitutions. Sort of again, as I do look at both managers, I'm not sure either of them wanted that. I think as it stands now, they'd probably take 1 minute and allow it to be penalties. I think that's how they've got to look at it. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see the next 6 minutes pans out. There's going to be a couple of chances, that's for sure.
And the pressure's on the Colwyn Bay defence as Miles Davis launches a long ball into the box. And it's just hoofed away by Nathan Beat. And an opportunity for Miles Davis. Just waits for his colleagues to get back to their positions. Man of the match, Chris Venables.
Yeah, it's not very often a striker gets a man of the match for, sort of having one shot on target. But
ball for Ethan Can into the box.
Really, really good defending from Nathan Peat. I was going to say it's got to be one of the two on the screen because of the way that the game's gone, it's been about defending your box and attacking the box. But going back to it, Venables has done really well in his defensive duties, and the question was about Noah Daly at the start of the game. I think he sort of repaid that question mark from everybody involved. But I think, ultimately it's probably been no one sort of had a bad game, no one sort of stood out, and it comes down to obviously Venables dealing with the ball in both boxes. But I think he'd love the fact if he can get a first contact on this as Jamie Cumming looks to mark him.
A minute and a half of added time played. It's Owen Pritchard. It's a short one to Miles Davis. Davis back to Pritchard. Pritchard back to Davis again. Davis into the box. And there was a high boot. And the referee just up with play once again. And of course, it's Chris Venables who's involved. Astles. Looking for Jamie Cumming. Coming up with Ludvigsen. Clayton Green brings the ball under control and looks for Noah Daly. Daly watches the ball over his shoulder. Presence of Ryan Astles. And it comes off Ryan Astles.
Looked like a Colwyn Bay throw for me, but again, sort of both teams sort of playing percentages. Reece sort of saying slow the game down. I have to say, Astles has done really well on his right hand side. He's got some good areas within in getting them up the pitch. But yeah, I think they won't be happy Colwyn Bay perspective if they get a goal from this.
Clayton Green. Wood. Nathan Wood does well, but couldn't get the cross in, and it's Jordan Davies. He's only got Aaron Williams ahead of him. Ball ricochets to Nathan Wood. Now then Wood. Under pressure from Aaron Williams. And Louis Robles. Williams is down. Wood, and it's a head injury. It's a head injury, so he has to stop play, Mr. Bryn Markham-Jones.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see in that back. Both Jordan's sloppy in midfield there, and as the ball goes forward, they sort of both go for it.
Yeah, he was hit by Louis Robles.
I hope he buys him a pint after that. That sums up Louis, though, doesn't it? I think, working so hard for his team in the 94th minute, making sure that, again, as a striker, he's working really hard back to help his teammates and stopping the ball going into his box.
So 2.5 minutes remaining. Now, will Pen-y-bont want to go to penalties, John Disney? They lost 4-3 against Flint in the Cup, didn't they, earlier on? So not many happy memories of penalty kicks.
No, but again, it goes down to, on the day, doesn't it? I think that, they've got some good technical footballers on the pitch. They've clearly showed a lot of leadership today. Again, the questions were, can Pen-y-bont stand up to the test of Colwyn Bay? And they've not won many games in the second phase, but they've managed to do it so far. Now, I'm sure they take a penalty over conceding late on now, so definitely they would rather do that. But again, it looks like from our perspective here, they are still trying to win the game, which is really good to see.
I was going to ask you the question, would Rhys Griffiths, driving up here for this match, at that point, would he have been happy to go to penalties?
Probably at that point, yes. But if you ask him now, his heart rate's going to definitely be going, and I'm sure the same will be applied to Wilde. So, yeah, let's see how the next couple of minutes pan out.
Robles just steals in front of Nathan Wood.
Yeah, proving he can play right back as well. Really, really good. Like I said, no ego for Louis. He really wants to do well for his team as much as he possibly can. So, again, every sort of touch, every sort of moment now counts in the next minute. I'm sure there'll be another minute added on for, us going down there. But I think it's really interesting to see how the next minute pans out.
Edging closer to penalty kicks was Ethan Can, held back there. And again, Mr. Bryn Markham-Jones up with play. Aaron Williams. Billy Borge, determined from the defender. Out to Owen Pritchard. Miles Davis. Aaron Williams rejoins play as Miles Davis lifts the ball looking for Ethan Can. He was going backwards, wasn't he? Half a minute.
Yeah, Pen-y-bont have to get their shape now. They have to make sure they're back in. No one walking at this moment in time. The game's not finished. They've got to get into a shape. Colwyn Bay have got to try and push forward to try and get the winner as well.
Aaron Williams with a long throw. Billy Borge with a header. Forward by George Hughes. Nobody there for Colwyn Bay.
Will he blow up on the 6th minute, even though Az was down for a little bit?
Well, he's got 2 seconds. Oh, he's indicating another minute. Okay. The referee is indicating there will be an added minute.
Just what everyone wanted, that.
So it looks as if we're going to penalties. Luke Armstrong, half a minute remaining. Is there a twist in the tail? Armstrong, long ball forward. Can, eyes on the ball. Cyril got there first. Billy Borge, all eyes on Mr. Bryn Markham-Jones. Owen Pritchard to Miles Davis. Davis looking for Venables. Cyril with the clearance. 10 seconds remaining. Jamie Cumming with a header forward. Robles into the back. It's there for Robles. Ball cleared out. What an opportunity. It's still there for Aaron Williams. Ball played in. Oh, what an effort. Just past the post. Oh. It was Jamie Cumming, I think, with the effort.
Maybe that extra minute was what everyone wanted. It's over.
And the final whistle blows. It's all over. We're going to penalties. It's finished. Colwyn Bay 0, Pen-y-bont 0.
Wow. I mean, like I said, Louis works he's worked so hard all game to sort of get that one moment, and they still defend it. Billy Borge has defended outstandingly today, and I think I have to say that Ludvigsen has as well. There's been a lot of people throwing the bodies on the line. Gets the wrong side. Louis stays up. He's honest. Tries to get back through. Brilliant defending from Billy Borge there. Even makes a contact on the ball there. Throws his head at it. Bodies diving everywhere. Sort of contacts. A little bit of a dive there from Jordan, and then it's just whispered wide of the post. But a really good ending to the game.
Goalless. We go to penalties.
Diolch yn fawr, Flino, gyda chi yn y man am ddrama ar y diwedd, a maen nhw'n gweud yn gêm y rygbi yn dyn nhw tensiwn tyndra, mi oedd yna popeth yn honna. Yw Billy Borge newydd achub Pen-y-bont fan adal am blaen?
Mae Billy Borge newydd achub nhw am floc oedd hwnna, oedd e'n gwych. Oedd ti teimlo fe Robles trwyddo, a wedyn Ludvigsen yn neud yn dda, ond wedyn Borge, fel mae wedi'n neud trwy gydol y gêm, fe yna i neud y bloc i sicrhau bod y gêm yn mynd i cicio ysmotyn.
Gen i weld yr ymdrech unwaith eto. Chi sy'n aros am falle hanner cyfle, yn sydyn mae pethau'n agor fyna.
Mae bob tro pêl-drod. Ti'n teimlo bod hyd un cyfle arall yn dod yn y gêm, a fan hyn nath e dod yn y 10 eiliad ola. Pam dath e nôl wrth ymyl y Cwrt Cosby, o ti'n teimlo bod e jyst mynd i crymanu fe mewn, ond yn anlwcus just tu allan y postyn.
Pawb eisiau goli ond bydde wedi bod yn greulon iawn I Pen-y-bont I golli yn yr eiliad ola yn fyna.
Beth fe wedi, ti bod, o'n i'n lawr fan hyn wrth yr ystlys gyda'r torf I gyd, a nhw'n gobeithio bod e'n mynd I mewn, a ti beth hwnna wedi bod yn greulon iawn, ar ôl ymdrech mae'r chwaraewyr wedi rhoi mewn, I nhw ddim cael y gêm I mynd I cicio smotyn. Ti'n meddwl beth hwnna wedi bod yn greulon iawn.
Ie, gair ymdrech na, bwysig fi'n credu. Mae'n hawdd edrych ar gêm fel un, gêm ddi-sgôr, a meddwl, mae'n gêm ddiflas. Ni'n gwylio wrth ochr y cae fan hyn. Mae'r ymdrech sydd wedi bod mewn gan y ddau dîm, wedi bod yn rhyfeddol I fod yn dig.
Ie, odi. Ti'n bod, gyda ni gweud cyn dechrau'r gêm bod popeth wedi bod yn arwain tuag at y gêm yma, a ti'n disgwyl bod chwaraewyr yn amlwg yn rhoi cant y cant, ond maen nhw I gyd wedi bod mor weithgar yn y gêm a wedi wneud I roliau, a hwnna falle yw pam ni wedi cael gêm sydd wedi bod braidd yn bratiol.
Pwy sy'n mynd gyntaf, dyna'r cwestiwn nawr, ble fyddwn ni'n mynd wrth ochr y clwb, ble mae rhan fwyaf o'r cefnogwyr wedi ymgynnull. Pen-y-bont I colli ngwpan Cymru ar gicio'r smotyn yn erbyn Flint, honna'n ddisgwr hefyd. O ti'n fwy cicio'r smotyn, Dylan?
O, na, o'n I yn cymeryd nhw, a mae'n anodd yn ydy, a nes I sôn yn y blwch sylwebu faint mae techneg yn amlwg yn holl bwysig, ond mae'r elfen seicolegol yn y fe. Ti goffod canolbwyntio ar beth ti'n mynd I wneud o ran wneud penderfyniad, beth ti'n mam bel I fynd. Ti hefyd yn goffod gwylio'r golwr. Y golwr yn amlwg wedi wneud gwaith catre fyd, felly bydd bach o hwnna wedi bod yn mynd ymlaen, dwi'n sicr. Nawr yw'r amser jyst I bawb I canolbwyntio ar cyffyrddiad dda ar y bel yn y fe. Cyffyrddiad dda ar y bel, a wedyn os mae'r golwr yn gesio'r ffordd cywir ac yn arbed, a leia ti wedi cael y cyffyrddiad a cael y techneg yn gywir.
Pen-y-bont yn canol y cae yn barod. Mike Wilde dal ei rester yn ei law. Falle bod nhw wedi paratoi, ond falle wrth gwrs bod chwaraewyr wedi gadael y cae erbyn hyn. Mae pawb yn barod, a mae rai fi weid Nick Parry nath weld y patrwm. Rhys Griffiths wedi bod yn nodi yn edrych na cwyno, bod nhw ddim wedi cael cic o'r smotyn drwy'r tymor. Wel dyma 5 iddyn nhw. Gewn ni weld, falle gan nhw 5. Be na nhw o hyn, ni'n barod amdani. Ni'n heiddi hyn, fi'n credu hefyd, nôl ni at ein tîm y sylwebu.
Oh, it's to penalties we go, and John Disney, Rhys Griffiths has complained quite frequently recently that they've not had a single penalty all season. They're going to have at least 5. Well, maybe 5.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have the opportunity, and I think they've got the most, experienced player that they could have going first in Venner's here. So, yeah, really interesting. Like I said, in the round about the 85th to the 90th minute, I was saying that both managers will have won penalties because obviously they don't want to lose the game. But it's a real tense moment now for both clubs, and yeah, it's kind of a lottery, and it'll be interesting to see how the goalkeepers do. 2 young lads try and be a hero.
Would you rather go first, John?
Yeah, I would do. Yeah. Sort of just get your first one out of the way and your main penalty taker. And Brenner's is normally no nonsense, sort of down the middle type scenario, or it'd be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, will he put his laces through the ball, as they say? It's Venables up against Brown, and he puts it in the top corner.
Wow.
Well, confident or what?
Well, fair play to him there. The rest of the penalties or anything like that, and we've got a really good penalty shootout to come, because that is unbelievable. No one saving that. Fantastic penalty from Chris Venables. Fair play.
Now it's Aaron Williams who's stepping up to take the first penalty for Colwyn Bay. He scored twice this season.
Yeah, we alluded to it, didn't we, bringing on subs to take penalties, and that was the one with us. So, yeah, again, interesting to see what he does here, because obviously he backs himself. Really good player.
Pressure on him with the Colwyn Bay fans all behind the goal away to our right. So Aaron Williams, oh, confident, lovely into the bottom corner. No chance at all for Luke Armstrong.
No, another great penalty, yeah. Like I say, normally when it does go in, we're going to say it's a really good penalty, but it's an interesting dynamic here from Luke. He sort of held his ground a little bit, and he found the bottom corner. So yeah, again, Nathan Wood steps up now for Pen-y-bont.
Nathan Wood, only 1 goal this season, but he's an experienced, wily character. There's Nathan Wood, but he did miss his penalty kick against Flint. Nathan Wood, hands on hips. Wood steps up and straight down the middle. No chance at all for Alex Brown. That was a good one.
Yeah, fair play to him again. Like you say, he's missed, but it doesn't matter. He's always going to take the accountability to step up, and he's taken that penalty really well. The penalty spot does look a bit lively, actually, in fairness. And typical Nathan, he sort of reacted to the fans there and sort of told them to calm down a little bit. But yeah, really good penalty. And George Hughes, obviously set play specialist for Colwyn Bay, up next.
The manager's player of the season, chosen by Mike Wilde as the standout performer this season for Colwyn Bay. And as you say, John, he's the dead ball expert. So again, just standing confidently as Armstrong dances on his line. And again, straight down the middle. And it's 2-2. Again, a really, really good penalty kick.
Yeah, just nice and calm, nice and composed, sort of waited for Luke to move, and he's sort of, again, down the middle in that element. But I think, like you say, he's a real good striker of the football, George. And, obviously brought the team back level there with that penalty, as Owen sort of steps up now for Pen-y-bont.
Yep, Owen Pritchard steps up to take the third for Pen-y-bont. And the pressure just ramps up with every kick that's taken. Alex Brown, he hasn't been near any one of them so far. Pritchard just holds his nerve. Pritchard, and again, very, very good penalty. They're all good penalties, these, John Disney.
Yeah, they are, 100%. And I think, the person stepping up next for Colwyn Bay is their regular penalty taker in Jordan Davis. And I fully expect him to take a really good penalty too. But that from Owen is really composed, really confident. And I think that, it just showcases again what a good player he is. And, Pen-y-bont, he's been key to sort of Pen-y-bont in this game as well. So, yeah, Jordan up next.
Well, he scored 13 goals this season. 4 of them have been against Pen-y-bont, including a hat-trick in that 5-4 victory back here in November. Luke Armstrong just trying to make himself big on the goal line. Jordan Davies has been wayward with some efforts in the game, but he has the opportunity here to put that right. Davis, and the keeper saves it. Oh, he read it. He read it, did Luke Armstrong. And Jordan Davis, of every player on the pitch, John Disney, to miss, would be the last one, you think?
Yeah, definitely wouldn't expect that. He does like that corner, and being honest, he normally hits them better than that. He does normally hit them better than that. I sort of forecasted he would go that way, but yeah, clearly Luke's done his homework, because that is the main penalty taker for them. Jamie Cunningham was the only one to take it for them last time, so yeah, advantage Pen-y-bont, but again, it's only as important as if Noah Daly does slot this one away.
Noah Daly, he scored 11 goals this season. He's the Pen-y-bont top scorer. Will Alex Brown get close to it? Daly stuttering run up into the bottom corner. Into the bottom corner. 4-2 to Pen-y-bont. Lewis Cyril has to score. If Lewis Cyril misses the next one, then Pen-y-bont will be playing either Barrytown United or Haverfordwest next weekend.
Yeah, and again, if you're Michael Wilde, you want your captain stepping up to take your last penalty. Accountability, ownership, big player, somebody who's been there and done it within Lewis. And I think that this won't faze him, and I think that it'll be a case of making sure that his side is still in it and putting pressure now back onto the last penalty take for Pen-y-bont.
Don't know about you, John, but my heart is beating rapidly here as Luke Armstrong. Cyril has to score, and he does.
Yeah, great penalty. Put the pressure back on. Like I said, put the pressure back onto Pen-y-bont and see what he can do, because I am sure now that the crowd here are going to make this a really intimidating penalty for Clayton Green stepping up. But again, we speak about his senior, experienced players. Clayton Green is the person that you would want as a Pen-y-bont, member of staff and a Pen-y-bont player stepping up. So massive effort now from Alex Brown's perspective to see if he can keep his football club in the playoffs.
On as a substitute to replace Ash Baker, Clayton Green, one of the most experienced players on the pitch. He's captained Wales C. It's Clayton Green. It's a short run-up against Alex Brown. Clayton Green takes Pen-y-bont into the playoff finals. Faultless with their penalties. Chris Griffiths and his team go to shake the hands of Mike Wilde and the Colwyn Bay management team. But Pen-y-bont have done it on penalties. Colwyn Bay 3, Pen-y-bont 5. They hadn't had a single penalty kick in the whole season, Pen-y-bont. But they've been absolutely faultless, John Disney.
Yeah, absolutely faultless. And I think that, the case of the game today, everyone was questioning Pen-y-bont. They've shown character, they've shown grit, they've shown determination. The question was, they lost a penalty shootout earlier in the season. They've showed real resilience there. And, I think their manager will be absolutely delighted for them. Feel really, really disappointed for Colwyn Bay as a club. Obviously, Wilde, Danny, and definitely for Jordan Davis. He's normally, reliant upon them. And, it's just a
Reece, you had to do it the hard way in the end. But my word, how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, it's draining. It is draining. It's been a tough few months, and even with this week feels big. Feels like a bit of a cup final today. Obviously, we got another one to go now. But I thought the better team on the day won, but the better team in the second half of the season has lost today. So I feel for Mike and his players and staff. But that's the way football goes, I guess.
You said in the week that Pen-y-bont haven't had a single penalty this season. Well, you got them today.
No, yeah, we didn't, did we? But I thought the penalties were very well executed, and a great save as well from our keeper, who went the opposite way to where I told him to go for that player. So no assist for me there. But yeah, look, I just think we've got another one to go now. But I just think as a team, although our performances don't deserve to win the playoffs, somehow our resilience and just togetherness, and we've just kept going through it all, and then so maybe we deserve something to celebrate, even if it's just today.
Maybe there's something in the stars then, Rhys, because now a final to look forward to.
Yeah, and obviously whoever we play, Barry will have for West, it's very similar. There's not much between the four teams at all, and it'll just probably be a similar tight affair. But like I said, I want to reiterate that Colwyn Bay have been superb this season. They've been really consistent, and Mike's done a great job. We probably don't deserve to win for our performances for the last 15 games, but certainly today I thought we were the clear better side.
Rhys, diolch. We'll see you next week.
Llongyfarchiad enfawr I Pen-y-bont, o Dylan Blaen wrth yn ochr i'n gwylio'r cicio'r smotyn na. O ti'n defnyddio'r gair profiad tipyn, neu dyna'r gwahaniaeth o ran y cicio'r smotyn?
Wel, dim lot rhwng y tîm oedd y gwbl hyd yn oed yn y cicio'r smotyn, ond bob tro ti'n gweld rhywun yn camu lan dros Pen-y-bont, o ti'n teimlo, profiad oedd Wilde Davies, Noah Daly, profiad y cymeriad cicio'r smotyn dros Gyfyrddin yn yr ail haen. A wedyn Clayton Green gyda'r un olaf wedi chwarae siwt gymor gemau bod falle yn y sefyllfa o blaen, a sicr nhw wedi ymarfer fyd o ran cymeryd y cicio'r smotyn, ond jyst dim byd yn paratoi ti, a na pan mae profiad mor bwysig. Mae'r
ciciau allweddol, a mae Pêl Jordan yn gwneud hyn. Jordan Davies, prif sgorio'r bai Colwyn, wrth gwrs bod e'n mynd i sgorio, neu wrth gwrs bod e'n mynd i fethu, a wedyn ni, Pen-y-bont heb ennill yn ail ran y tymor, maen nhw'n cael cyfnod ofnadw. Wrth gwrs maen nhw sydd wedi mynd drwy'n. Mae Pêl Jordan yn gwneud hyn, Dylan.
Odi, nes i gofyn i fi reit ar y cychwyn pwy oedd y ffefrynnau, a fi credu enwes i'r pedwar ohonyn nhw, oherwydd mae mor anodd i gweud, fel nath Rhys Griffiths just sôn, does dim lot rhwng y tîmoedd yma, a nath y cynllun heddi gyda Pen-y-bont oedd i fod yn gadarn, i ddim roi unrhyw beth bant, a os oedd y gêm yn mynd i cicio'r smotyn wedyn, ti jyst yn edrych am y cyfle na i'r chwaraewyr i wneud y techneg yn gywir, a maen nhw wedi wneud e.
Dyna ni, Dylan. Diolch yn fawr, ni wedi cael drama ciciau o'r smotyn. Mae'n gêm greulon, mae'n gêm rhyfeddol weithiau. Yn dyfu, Llongyfarchiad i Pen-y-bont. Mwy i ddod fori, y Bari a Holffordd fori. Diolch am eich cwmni yn yr heilwen ym Mike Colwyn. Hwyl fawr i chi.